SCPs are some of the most dangerous creatures ever created, and today we'll be learning just how dangerous they can be for the next 2 hours straight.
When an anomaly is first detected by an SCP Foundation field agent,
Alright, that's an SCP field agent.
Mobile task forces to tag and bag the impossible entities before they can do any more harm.
Alright,
Sometimes these retrievals are uneventful. Other times, not so much.
Yo, they got
Especially
destroyed.
when they're dealing with brutal forces of nature, like SCP-096.
Also known as the Shy Guy.
A creature that, from the very first interaction with the Foundation, had a reputation for being dangerous and needed to be.
Oh yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, the Shy Guy is basically this giant humanoid white creature that covers its eyes, and if you accidentally look at it, you're basically dead. I don't know exactly why Shy Guy is so shy, so maybe today we'll figure it out. This animation was made by SCP Explained. The link to their channel will be down below in the description.
A series of vague sightings and mysterious disappearances up in the frosty mountains of the Yukon first sparked the Foundation's interest.
That's kind of spooky.
They had an anomaly on their hands.
Yeah, makes sense.
Teams, Zulu 9A and Zulu 9B, were dispatched to secure and contain the entity.
They're
Zulu
gonna
9A
die.
took the lead in a heavy-duty chopper, equipped with 50 caliber GAU-19 heavy machine guns, and
They went with full-on machine guns, and 6 guys that all had guns on their bodies as well, and they have a huge helicopter, so they shouldn't lose, but SCPs are kind of a little bit dangerous. That's why SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. If you find one of these creatures, you secure it, you contain it, and then you protect it from other people.
and carrying an AT-4 anti-tank launcher.
They have a
They
tank?
were prepared for anything, or so they thought.
How are they going to lose to Shy
visual on
Guy?
SCP-096 while 2 clicks away from the target.
Yo.
They couldn't get a clear line of sight on the creature, but it appeared to be stationary.
This thing basically looks like the opposite version of Slenderman. Instead of being like all black with a white face, it's just all white, and it has like little tiny black eyes.
They couldn't get a clear line of sight on the creature, but it appeared to be stationary.
They're slowly
docile,
approaching it with
was
a
making no
P90
attempt to
and a
fly
rocket
piece of
launcher.
Cake, right? Little did they know that SCP-096 was just looking away from them.
Don't look at it, he just looked at me!
Towards them, it'd be a whole different horror story, as Zulu 9A were about to find out.
As soon
The
as
team
you look
landed
at this
their
thing, they're
helicopter
dead.
Next to the
They're
creature,
gonna die.
and were shocked to see that it was completely naked, in spite of the sub-zero temperatures all around them. The creature was unnaturally thin, as though it had been starved for weeks, with bone-white skin and unnaturally long limbs.
Did you see how
The
long
team
its
guessed
arms
that
were?
The creature's arms must have been at least 1.5 meters long.
What?
But its docile nature and insubstantial body mass gave the impression that it wouldn't prove too difficult to contain. That is,
So obviously this creature looks kind of weird. It's almost like Bigfoot lost a bunch of weight and also all of its hair. So they don't really think it's a problem, but little do they know that this is an SCP. Not any SCP, this is Shy Guy.
that is, until they saw its face.
You
Zulu 9A's captain was the lone survivor of the incident, as he was lucky
Oh.
enough to be looking away when the creature turned towards his team.
Oh, they looked at
The
him.
rest of the squad ended up staring eye to eye with SCP-096.
That's not what you do with the
And from that
SCP-096.
moment on, wasn't docile anymore.
Nope.
The creature began to whimper, then cry, then sob uncontrollably
It's so creepy.
in a way that sounded eerily human. This sudden change in temperament startled the rest
They started
of
to
Zulu
shoot
9A,
it?
and they opened
Why
fire
would they
on
do
the
that?
creature. Under the hail of gunfire, SCP-096 entered a murderous
Look how big its
frenzy
mouth
and
is.
began tearing into the hapless squad of soldiers. While its flesh and organs did seem to take damage
That
as a
is
result
nightmare
of the
fuel.
barrage of 50 caliber rounds from the helicopter-mounted machine guns, its skeletal structure remained.
Its body just looks like a slice of white Swiss cheese. It's about to eat a grown man alive.
50 caliber rounds from the helicopter-mounted machine guns. Its skeletal structure remained intact.
my
and
gosh.
it continued its onslaught.
He's
tearing
gonna
the
eat him.
team limb from limb, even after they'd blown practically all the flesh from the creature. The AT-4 anti-tank launcher proved equally ineffective at stopping SCP-096.
It survived a tank explosion?
And it was only after slaughtering
How?
the entire team that it returned to its docile state.
Oh my
Nobody
gosh.
knows exactly what the creature did to Zulu 9A after the gunfire started, but no trace of the team was left behind.
It probably ate
Zulu
them all,
9B touched
right?
down soon after, and with a grave warning from the captain not to look at the creature's face, they were finally able to subdue it.
It's a really good thing that at least one of them survived so that they knew how to deal with the SCP. Most of the SCPs have like one weird trait so that you're able to use that and then capture them. So with Shy Guy, all you have to do is not make eye contact with him. He's super shy. he might have social anxiety, so you just like, you know, keep your head down, and then as long as you do that, he won't attack you.
A bag
Good work,
was placed
Captain.
over SCP-096's face, which seemed to soothe it enough to
Oh,
move
they
it
just
to a
put a
nearby
bag over
Foundation
its head.
facility.
That's so
Little
sad.
did they know, they just obtained one of the deadliest SCPs of all time. And while it may have been under lock and key for now, it seemed inevitable that it would get out and cause more violence and chaos.
How would it get
Research and
out?
containment procedures for the SCP-096 were put under the command of Dr. Dan,
Dr.
a senior
Dan.
researcher at the site. It was his job to find out exactly what this being was capable of. The more he tested,
So for those of you guys that don't know about SCPs, the person going in the orange jumpsuit is called a D-class personnel. They're basically like prisoners in jail that like are on, I think, death row, and then they're given to the SCP Foundation to use as experiments for the SCPs. Yeah, it's bad.
the more he tested,
So Dr. Dan's
The more he
basically sending this
realized that they were
dude
dealing with
to get
something
eaten by
truly
SCP-096. Yeah, that dude just
disposable
got
D-class
ripped
personnel
apart
were used
to shreds.
figure out exactly what it was that caused the creature to enter its attack.
Oh!
Just as it had during the initial retrieval mission, SCP-096 went berserk when any of
looked
the
at it.
attending personnel saw its face. In
Yeah,
this stage,
why is he
it would
walking
enter a
like
period
that?
of considerable and unstoppable distress for 1 to 2 minutes, covering its face and wailing loudly.
I
When
feel
the
kinda
period of
bad for
distress
it.
ended, the creature would mercilessly slaughter every D-class that had seen its face, and just like with Zulu 9A, no trace of their bodies would be left behind.
Because they get eaten
Dr. Dan was
alive!
horrified and intrigued by this phenomenon. The
Yeah,
creature
seeing
killed
its face
anyone that
equals
saw
death.
its face directly, but could the same be said for indirect depictions of the creature's face, such as images and videos?
Wait, that's actually a good question because I've never heard about maybe taking a picture of SCP-096 and then if you do that, maybe you're good. Or what if you look at it through a mirror? Does it still count?
Such as images and videos. Dr. Dan was desperate to find out. More D-class personnel were brought in to test this, to frightening results. Dr. Dan found that the creature did indeed still enter attack mode when people saw pictures and videos of SCP-096's face. The creature seemed to have an innate sense of when people were viewing these
How?
representations, even when it should have had no conceivable way of knowing.
Wait, does that mean, am I gonna be okay? I am watching a video of SCP-096, right? But it's just an animation though, so I think I'm good, right?
Conceivable way of knowing. It didn't matter how far away or how many barriers were in place between the viewer and the creature. The attack mode would still activate.
How does
And
it
once
how does it
did,
find it?
It seemed as though nothing could stop the creature from hunting down the one who saw its face. With all of this new data,
Okay.
special containment procedures were devised to keep the creature safely under
Yeah,
lock
that's a
and
good
key.
idea.
Its cell was a 5 meter by 5 meter by 5 meter airtight steel cube, fitted with advanced pressure sensors and laser detectors to ensure
Okay,
that
cool, so it's not gonna escape that.
SCP-096 remained in its cell without risking anyone having visual contact with the creature's face. All cameras and video equipment were strictly forbidden, and weekly checks for any cracks or holes in the containment cell were mandatory. Of course, none of this would stop the creature if anyone somehow saw its face. In order to solve that little problem, Dr. Dan would need to continue his research. To find a method of subverting the creature's deadly glance, they needed to know exactly what they were dealing with. But how could they?
Yeah,
When
if
even
they
a
can't
glance
look at
a
it,
photo or video of the
right?
being meant
So
certain
how are they
death.
going to figure
A
out
potential
what
solution
stops
was
it?
proposed, creating an artistic representation of the creature's face, something that hadn't yet been attempted. But how would they achieve such a feat? Simple. They'd procure a D-class prisoner with some artistic talent.
And wait, it's going to look at the Shy Guy SCP, but like after it does that, it's just gonna die. They're just setting up this man to die. I guess it's the only
They
way to
found one who
actually
had
get to
been
the
a
bottom
tattoo
of
artist
this.
before becoming a Foundation guinea pig. Dr. Dan formulated an ingenious plan for keeping this D-class alive for long enough to accurately draw an image of SCP-096's face.
Maybe
He
a
would be
bunch
placed in
of
a
bulletproof
bathysphere
steel?
diving bell several
Wait, what?
kilometers underwater and tens of kilometers away from the containment cell where the SCP was being held. The D-class was made to look at a photograph of the creature's face and then replicate that image in a pencil sketch. Dr. Dan first confirmed that the creature's attack mode is only activated by the creature's face by having the D-class look at a series of photos of the SCP's body parts, one by one, finally finishing with its face. The D-class began drawing
Okay, so
and
it's
even
gonna be able to
remarked
draw
on
it
how
all.
creepy the SCP's facial features were, despite not knowing the deadly context. Meanwhile, back in its containment cell, SCP-096 sensed someone viewing its face.
How?
And entered its inconsolable crying state, followed by its attack mode.
It was able to break out
easily and began making a beeline for the
It broke out of steel. 5 foot by 5 foot by 5 foot steel. That's crazy. This thing is basically the Incredible Hulk, except it's white and skinny and has teeth that are going to grind up anything that it touches.
It broke out of containment easily and began making a beeline
I don't like
for the
this
D-class,
creature.
traversing the miles between it and its prey.
How
The D-class
did it get
didn't
there?
know it, as he locked the finished drawing into a separate, autonomous submersible, but he was already dead.
Oh
As
my
the drawing
gosh.
made its way up
It
to a
went
researcher
deep
on the
underwater
surface,
to kill the D-class
SCP-096
personnel.
dived into the water and started swimming down towards the artist. Minutes later, the bathysphere was breached, and the D-class was torn to shreds. SCP-096 was recaptured without issue by Surface Recovery Team Foxtrot 303A.
Okay, so
And
they
further
got him
testing
back.
on the drawing showed that artistic representations of SCP-096's face were in fact harmless. From this
Okay, so that's
experience,
good.
We now know that the creature has a gaunt face with totally white eyes, possibly indicating blindness and a grossly extended jaw.
So as long as you look at the creature and it's not a direct picture, you're safe. So we're good. We've been looking at animators that have drawn SCP-096. So we don't have to worry about Shy Guy coming to our houses and, eating us. So that's nice.
Nevertheless, Dr. Dan was adamant that SCP-096 was too dangerous to be left alive.
Yeah,
and requested
that makes
permission from
good
the upper
sense.
echelons of
Good
the
job, Dr.
Foundation
Dan.
to terminate the creature by any means necessary.
But how?
However, the doctor's request would fall on deaf ears. Until it all started with a seemingly innocent image. While it's now been redacted for your safety, the black speck inside the yellow circle was once a minuscule image of SCP-096,
What?
taken unknowingly in the 1990s by a semi-professional mountaineer. One day they were looking at old photographs when his eyes passed over the tiny speck without even noticing that he had seen anything. But SCP-096 noticed. and
How?
began entering its attack.
It was just a tiny
It
little
tore through
speck.
its
We
steel
couldn't even
containment
see
unit
you
like tissue
psycho!
paper, causing the release of a nerve agent that killed a number of attending Foundation staff. The monster then fled the base and began pursuing its prey, with Mobile Task Force Tau-1 in hot pursuit.
You gotta take this
Dr.
thing out.
Alexei, who was helping to manage the site where the SCP
Call the
was
army,
contained,
call the
was
Navy,
in
call
the
somebody.
situation.
Get some
Dan
aliens.
was out of the country at the time, trying to
no.
discover more about the creature's origins. However, he did leave the Mobile Task Force with a new secret weapon against the rampaging Shy Guy.
What are they gonna
Project
use?
Scramble. Scramble were state-of-the-art goggles featuring a new technology created by Dr. Dan, which, using artistic renditions of 096's facial features, could detect and scramble the features of SCP-096 into an unrecognizable form, preventing the normally deadly effect of gazing upon its face. In theory, this would allow MTF Tau-1 to engage safely with 096 once its prey had been eliminated and bring it back into containment. But disaster struck on two fronts. First, the prey in question was located in a population center, creating the potential for a huge loss of life. And the second bigger problem was that the scramble technology didn't work, as
It
stray
didn't?
pixels of the creature's face
Oh,
would
no.
reach the eyes of the task force before the internal microprocessor had time to scramble them. The mission turned into a death sentence, as SCP-096 slaughtered almost the entire
It just
task
went on a
force,
rampage.
as well as a number of civilians in town, including an infant and its entire family.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
a monumental disaster.
Yeah, that
made
sounds
even
terrible.
Worse by a final revelation. Dr. Dan and Dr. Alexei had themselves facilitated the entire containment breach and allowed the resulting massacre to happen. With
Wait.
Dr. Dan hoping it would be enough motivation for Foundation Command to
Dr. Dan did it? He was behind this entire plan? Bro, you're a savage. Why would you do that? I mean, I understand that, he wanted to destroy the creature, but he just released it into the world. That's awful. You should have just, kept it in captivity. That's part of your plan as SCP Foundation. Secure, contain, protect, not to kill it.
greenlight his research into destroying the creature. Anything that would give him the opportunity to kill this thing would be worth the bloodshed. His plan worked, and the SCP Foundation saw it his way.
Okay, so now they're gonna try to kill SCP-096.
SCP-096. However, success comes at a cost for Dr. Dan. Once he figures out a way to finally kill the creature, though done in his line of duty, he himself will be terminated by the Foundation for his crimes against humanity.
Okay.
But considering
I like
how
that.
much damage SCP-096 is capable of causing if
They're
it
all
ever
just
got to
looking
a
at
major
him.
population center,
Oh,
or
no.
even worse, was ever caught on camera and broadcast to a worldwide audience, The doctor himself would likely deem his own death a justifiable cost. To this day, the Foundation is researching ways to kill the creature, and they're still looking for their silver bullet.
Yeah, I don't know if there is going to be a way.
They hadn't known about the seemingly innocent picture that sparked the last containment breach, the one taken decades ago, in which the shy guy had only occupied 4 tiny pixels. 4 tiny pixels that resulted in multiple innocent lives lost. So be careful where you look, because who knows how many other photos of the creature are lurking out there.
Okay.
Photos with an innocent dot
That's
in the
scary.
background. Your eyes glance over it, not even noticing the little blip, until you hear a distant wailing that seems to be getting closer and closer and closer.
Okay, you don't have to make it that spooky, my man.
Already too late.
This is one of the highest requested
Driving
SCPs.
down a desolate stretch of highway somewhere in New Mexico. There's nothing out here except for you, your car, and the road.
They always start out so
What
spooky.
you don't know is that you're about to encounter something. Something terrifying.
Of course.
moon.
Okay, this is going to be a
The sky
Keter
is
class
pitch
for
black.
sure.
Your own car is barely lighting up the dark road ahead of you. Just then, you spot something in your rearview mirror.
It's not going to be a
Pair of
car.
headlights. There's nothing too strange about them. Except that they are
Oh,
especially
boys.
bright. Your eyes are so adjusted to the darkness that you have to look away. When you glance in the mirror again, you see that they're closer. Much closer.
Somebody has their high
They
beams
must be
on.
going awfully fast. You don't know why, but something about the car behind you makes you feel uneasy.
Yeah, maybe it's the fact that they have massively overpowered
Maybe you
headlights.
can keep some distance from them.
Speed up.
The lights keep getting closer.
Oh, no,
As you
no,
speed up a
no.
little more. Still, they gain on you, growing bigger and bigger in your rearview mirror. You're getting nervous. They look like they are barreling right towards you. You floor it. The lights are able
Go,
to
go,
keep
go,
up
go, go,
easily,
go.
though.
How?
And now, they're right on your tail. No matter how fast you go, they stay right behind you. The
That
lights
is
are
so
bright and
weird.
close that they're almost blinding. You're in a full-blown panic. What is going on? Now the lights are swerving back and forth behind you. What do they want? You take a sharp turn without indicating, but they follow you without difficulty.
Okay, that's the
You keep your
creepiest
foot
part.
Smashed down on the accelerator. Your engine is screaming, but they just get closer and closer. They're
Oh,
right on
guys,
your
I'm getting
bumper.
creeped out.
The bright white lights burn your eyes so bad that you swat at the rearview mirror to point it down. You look up just in time to see the
Whoa!
deer standing in the middle of the road. You slam on your brakes as
Wait, guys, is the deer a part of the SCP? Are they working together? Somehow does the SCP control the deer? I need answers to this.
hard as you can. Your tires squeal loudly in the night, and you brace yourself to both hit the deer and get rear-ended from behind. You stop inches from the deer as something incredible happens.
The deer
The
didn't
two
even move.
headlights seem to split,
Huh?
passing by you on either side of your car.
It
You and the
wasn't
deer
a
lock
car?
eyes for a split second, as if you're both thinking, "What was that?" Before the deer hops away into the night. You don't know what's happening, but you're not going to wait around to find out. You throw the car in reverse and hit the gas.
Okay, guys, I want you to comment down below what you would do in that particular situation. I mean, at the start, I would probably, if I am on a road in the middle of the desert, and somebody is riding my butt, I would probably tell them to, like, pass. Like, usually if you're driving, you could be like, hey, if you want to speed, you could go in front of me. And I would start with that. And then if they didn't do that, then I would get really creeped out. I would probably call my mom and have my mom come pick me up because my mom would fight them. But if that doesn't work, and then I kept going faster and the headlights split and swerved around me, I would probably think that it's like 2 motorcycles that were riding next to each other and they're just being weird, like playing a prank on me. And then they dodged me at the very last second. But if it wasn't that, I guess, I don't know, maybe the SCP literally is just like a light that flies around. I have no idea what it looks like yet, so I'm kind of curious to see.
Before whipping it around 180 degrees. You can't remember how far the last town was, but there's no chance you're going in the direction of those lights. You drive as fast as you can, checking your mirror constantly to see if anything is behind you.
Oh,
Nothing.
if they come back,
Just
I am going to
darkness.
freak out, boys.
You're finally safe. No, they're
Nope,
right in front
nope,
of you.
nope.
The lights
Oh,
somehow
no.
appear out of nowhere, right in front of your car. You turn the wheel hard to avoid a head-on collision, and you go flying off the road,
Oh,
smashing
no.
your head against the window.
Oh,
as the
dude.
car goes flipping and rolling and tumbling. The car comes to a stop.
You should have just smashed
road,
them.
upside down, with a lone blinking turn signal dimly lighting up the surrounding field. A single headlight approaches the car.
Just a
It's not
single
moving
one.
like a vehicle. It's moving like an animal.
Oh my
You're concussed
gosh,
from the
what
accident,
is
and your
this
vision
thing?
is starting to fade. The last thing you see is a second light approaching. The next morning, the local sheriff
That's
is
it?
investigating the scene of a single car accident. Curiously, there's no body. Just
Oh
a few scraps of
my
clothing and a
God.
pair of tennis shoes sitting neatly in the upside down.
Guys, I just got goosebumps all over my body. So whatever this SCP is, it went over and it either A, ate whoever that guy was, or B, it kidnapped the guy and like brought it back to its lair. I don't know exactly how smart this SCP is. Some of them are kind of just like animalistic in nature. Like they kind of just do the things that they got to do to survive and get food. So it could be that where they just ate the guy just to survive, or B, they have some weird sinister plans and they have like a lair, and it's a lot more intelligent than we think. Unlike me, I have 2 brain cells.
Roof of the car. Strangest, though, are the childlike handprints all over the dirty car door.
Childlike handprints?
The sheriff doesn't know what to think.
That's weird.
What the sheriff doesn't know is that he has just come upon the aftermath of an SCP-745 attack.
What?
A strange
Okay, all right. That's what we've been watching this entire time. That is insane, dude. That looks like the Pixar lamp had a child with like a velociraptor. What the actual flip? That is crazy. And obviously, it's a carnivore. Look at those teeth. They are the sharpest teeth. It basically has like dinosaur T-Rex teeth. So you know for a fact that dude is dead. That dude is deader than dead on a Tuesday morning. And the weirdest part is its mouth like isn't even on its face. It's like on its neck, which is just even more creepy.
and mysterious creature known as the headlights.
Yeah,
SCP-745
that makes sense.
is
It
the
looks like headlights.
classification the SCP Foundation has given to a bipedal nocturnal predator whose hunting grounds are an abandoned stretch of highway in northern New Mexico. SCP-745's most distinctive feature by far is its head.
Well, yeah, it's
top
not
of
the
which is a
tail.
bloated sack of translucent skin. There are no visible
Ew.
sensory organs
Oh, it's its
present on the
brain.
head, nor does it appear to have a solid skull.
Oh.
And the creature's brain can be directly seen through the semi-transparent skin, which is covered in a web of bioluminescent organs.
So if that guy, when the headlights were running at him, if he just ran them over, he probably would have been okay. Instead, obviously, he thought it was a car, which would be way worse if you're, coming into a headfirst collision with another car. You're probably going to die. But if he knew that these were actually just like dinosaur Pixar lamps, then maybe he could have survived.
These organs are capable of producing a steady output of light that's been measured between 1400 to 3200 lumens, which is the equivalent
sounds
of
pretty bright.
xenon gas headlights.
Right, okay.
The entity has been observed to have the ability to change the color of this light.
Okay, that's
as well
really
as flash
cool.
it in specific patterns.
I need this
It
for
is
my gaming
theorized
setup.
that it engages in this behavior as a way to defend itself, and potentially
what?
may also use it as a way to communicate with other members of.
Also, guys, are you seeing this right now? It looks like this creature has more arms than... Okay, wait. Does it? I'm kind of confused. The arms are looking really weird. Like, I didn't realize that they could put their arms out to the side, so it kind of looks like they're wings. But the one on the left, I don't know. Like, the legs kind of look like feet, and the feet kind of look like hands, and I'm very, very confused.
Of its species. The rest of SCP-745's body is covered in skin that is a deep, dark, black color that almost seems to absorb light. This quality, when paired with their blindingly bright head protrusion, gives the appearance of a floating point of light in the darkness.
Whoa.
Because SCP-745 entities hunt almost exclusively in pairs, with their preferred hunting grounds being remote sections of highway, they are easily mistaken for oncoming or approaching headlights. 2 SCP-745 entities are able to move together in perfect synchronicity, running in tandem at speeds up to 180 kilometers
What?
per hour. Together,
Are
they
you
will target lone
joking?
vehicles that they spot on the highway and will begin to chase or run straight towards them.
I'm also kind of curious, guys. They've mentioned that this SCP can change colors of the light that's on its forehead, but can it like turn off the light if it wanted to? That would be really overpowered because it could basically just like disappear at a moment's notice, especially if it hunts at night and the entire body is pitch black. I guess they could make the light black, but that probably wouldn't work. Honestly, you would still be able to see it. So if they could turn off the light, that would be just even more deadly.
Giving the unlucky driver the impression that a fast-moving car is rapidly approaching them. After they near the targeted car, they will attempt to stop it by any means necessary, whether by simply forcing the driver to pull over out of fear,
did they
or by running them
put
off
the
the
deer
road
there?
completely. Once their prey has stopped, crashed, or become otherwise incapacitated, the pair will stop moving together and approach the car separately to directly assault and then consume the vehicle's occupants.
Okay, so he did get
Next to no
eaten.
remains are left following an attack, save for a few scraps of clothing in the victim's shoes. Other than the damage sustained during the accident, there is never any other sign of struggle or forced entry, with the only other evidence left at the scene being the childlike handprints from SCP-745's small front paws.
Interesting, okay.
Strangely, analysis of SCP-745's genetic structure has revealed that unlike humans, they are not a carbon-based life form, meaning it is unlikely then
aliens?
that they are able to derive any nutrition from the consuming of human flesh.
They're just doing it for
theorized
fun?
Then that they may be hunting solely for sport or some other form of perverse enjoyment.
What?
This question remains unanswered, as currently there are no recorded observations of SCP-745 feeding in the wild.
Well, yeah, that kind of makes sense considering that there was a deer in the road that they could have easily captured and eaten if they wanted to, but they obviously did not. And they ran this dude off the road in his vehicle and apparently killed him not because they needed to eat, but because they did it for fun, which is 10 times scarier.
As successful attacks have never left any witnesses.
Wow.
And specimens captured by the SCP Foundation refuse to eat at all. No lairs, nests, or other refuge of SCP-745 has ever been found.
So they're basically
nor has
aliens.
the Foundation located any breeding grounds or young examples of the entity. It's unknown how or if they reproduce, or when they may have first appeared. What is known is that they had established a wide hunting territory across the American Southwest until Foundation teams began a program to thin their numbers in the 1960s.
1968.
The effort appears to have been successful so far, and all recent sightings of SCP-745 have been limited to a specific stretch of highway in northern New Mexico.
Okay, if you guys are there, just be on the lookout, you know.
Has been classified as Euclid, and in order to limit potential exposure to civilians, the Foundation has purchased the land surrounding the highway, with
That's
traffic
smart.
being redirected to other roads. Foundation security teams disguised as highway patrol officers are to remove any trespassers or lost travelers who accidentally find themselves on the dangerous stretch of highway. The security teams are also tasked with attempting to capture any instances of SCP-745
How?
that they can.
Oh, with a net.
And any recovered creatures, live or dead, are to be loaded into Class 3 BCU storage containers and transferred to Site 17 for further study.
So it doesn't seem like the SCP has any, like, crazy abilities other than the fact that it has a giant light bulb on its brain and that can change colors. That's, like, the only cool ability that it seems to have. It doesn't have anything like the prototype, for example, can, like, make a black hole out of thin air. So it's basically like an animal in the wild, but we have animals like this, just like obviously not on land. We have tons and tons of fish in the sea that have this like same sort of bioluminescent feature where like it looks like they have a light bulb. Obviously you guys have probably seen Nemo, and there's a fish in the movie that literally has like a little tiny dangling light bulb, very similar to this SCP's light bulb that is basically like on its head, that is used as a distraction to basically get its prey to, like, I don't know, just like think something different, that there's no actual danger, and then as soon as they get close enough, boom, they're dead. So it's kind of the same exact thing, but we don't have anything like it on land. I mean, unless we're counting this SCP as real.
Containment procedures that are able to preserve living specimens are still being researched, and currently, no examples of SCP-745 have survived for more than a week in captivity.
Poor guy.
However, seeing as there have been no new sightings of SCP-745 outside
Are they
of the
extinct?
isolated and monitored stretch of highway, and all reports of phantom lights elsewhere in the country have not pointed to evidence of additional SCP-745 outbreaks, they are considered to be effectively contained.
Here we go.
A 13-year-old girl and her 13-year-old brother are settling in for their favorite after-school activity, watching TV. The children's parents won't be home from work for several hours, and watching the after-school programming together before making a snack is a staple of their day. The boy takes his normal position on the couch as the girl plants herself right in front of the television and turns it on. This is the time when Pretty Pony Paradise comes on, and she never misses an episode.
Oh no,
The brother would
dudes.
prefer something else, but he also loves to see his sister happy.
Aw.
So he always lets her watch the ponies have their adventures.
It starts out so
Today, though,
wholesome.
when she turns to the right channel, there's something else.
Oh
Instead of the usual
no.
Pretty Pony theme song, circus music comes out of the television speakers. The girl watches as the brightly colored words, Bobble the Clown.
Bobble the
appear on
Clown.
screen. Hey, this isn't Pretty Pony, she says to her brother. But when she looks back,
What?
he's asleep.
Oh my,
The
wait,
girl
what?
isn't happy, but she decides to give this new show a chance.
He fell asleep so
And
fast.
maybe her pony show will come on after anyway. The circus music stops, and a happy-looking clown cartwheels onto the screen.
Guys, that is not a happy-looking clown.
The
That
garish
thing is
clown
freaky.
says, "Do you like fun?"
Comment down below how you guys feel about clowns. Personally, I have always been terrified of clowns. Anytime I see one in real life, I just turn around and I go the opposite direction. They creep me out.
The girl did like fun. Perhaps this new show wouldn't be so bad. She watches as Bobble walks down the street of an average, happy American small town. Everyone seems to love the happy clown, waving at him as he passes by. Bobble pauses in front of a house where a man is mowing the lawn. He convinces the man to stop his yard work and join him. And the two happily
Okay.
head down the sidewalk
So far,
together.
so good.
The girl is a little confused by this show. There's not much in the way of jokes, but she decides to keep watching anyway. Bobble and his new friend stop in front of a house that is painted to resemble a circus tent. This must be where Bobble lives. He invites the man in, and they both enter the house. Inside,
I don't know
Bobble
about
motions
this,
the man
guys.
to sit while he prepares some refreshments. The girl watches as Bobble moves to the kitchen. There, he begins sharpening knives as he explains directly to the camera the best way to prepare meat, the way the skin must carefully be removed from the flesh, and how the bones should be saved for future soup stocks.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know this for sure, but I have a weird feeling that Bobble the Clown, first off, obviously is the SCP, and secondly, I think that this TV show is about Bobble the Clown pretty much luring people to his house like just normal people, and then he tricks them and then does something to them, and then, I don't know, they get knocked out or they get tied up, and then he just starts chopping up their bodies or something weird like that. I don't know for sure, but this is definitely getting super creepy.
The girl watches with fascination as Bobble teaches his special lesson. Maybe this is a good show after all. Maybe this is her new favorite show. The girl gets up, her brother still asleep, and heads to the kitchen. She pulls out a drawer to help her reach the counter.
Wait,
Knife block
no.
and pulls out the meat cleaver.
Are you kidding
Looks
me
at it
right
gleaming in the
now?
light, entranced by its sharp, shiny edge. The girl returns to the living room. and gets up
What
onto
are
the
you
couch next to her
doing,
sleeping
girl?
brother. She watches as Bobble steps away from his pot of red, boiling meat.
Okay.
Looks right into the
What
camera.
kind of meat is
The
that?
girl stands up and holds up the meat cleaver.
Okay, guys, why does she look so, like, confident holding a knife like that? Like, I wonder if the SCP is taking over her mind and making her think that, like, what is happening is okay, when in reality, I don't know. She is definitely losing her brain right now. She has, like, negative 12 brain cells, because I have a weird feeling that she's in a trance, and Bobble the Clown is going to make her kill her own brother.
Bobble walks towards the camera with fascination in his eyes, as if he can see through the screen.
I was gonna say, he's looking at me like he is looking into my soul.
She slowly raises the knife above her head.
Don't do
As
it.
Bobble starts whispering,
No, no, no.
"Come on."
No, no, no.
Do it.
No, 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 no.
Licking
Bobble?
his lips in anticipation.
Bobble, please do not come out of
The
that
girl
TV.
pauses for a second, looks at her sleeping brother one more time,
Wake up.
and brings the cleaver.
Oh my gosh!
Hi,
You gotta be kidding
I'm
me.
Dr. Bob, and this is SCP-993, also known as Bobble the Clown.
Guys, on this channel, we've investigated some absolutely crazy SCPs, but I've never seen an SCP that makes a kid actually turn into a killer. Like, she just, I don't know if she, like, thought that was okay, but I don't know, man. I've never seen an SCP make a child do something that horrible. I can't believe it. This might be one of the worst SCPs we've ever checked out.
SCP-993 is the designation the SCP Foundation has given to a children's television program entitled Bobble the Clown.
I wonder if this is
At
made by
first glance,
Dr.
The Bobble the
Wonderainment.
Clown show appears to be a standard children's educational cartoon with bright colors, a mascot, and a rote formula. that
His
involves the
eyes
titular character,
creep
Bobble
me
the
out.
Clown, learning a new skill or engaging in a new activity. The program appears to have no recurring supporting cast, with Bobble being the only character who returns to each episode. The settings usually change between episodes as well, with Bobble often being seen in a new or unique location. Despite appearing as a show made for children, the anomalous properties exhibited by this strange television program make themselves apparent almost immediately. First, Anyone older than the age of 10 who watches the show
Oh, wow.
will immediately fall unconscious as soon as it begins.
So you don't even need to be an adult. I thought maybe this would target, you know, kids under the age of 18 or under the age of like 16, you know, like younger kids, but like teenagers were still included in that. But no, this is like you have to be an actual kid. And if you're not, you're going to pass out. And then basically you're going to get murdered by a child, by a 6-year-old with a cleaver in their hand, which is absolutely insane.
And will remain in a comatose state until the program ends.
So that's why the brother
Upon
fell
waking,
asleep so
they will
fast.
report having felt a painful stabbing headache just prior to falling unconscious. The show's most disturbing property, though, is what has been described by those under the age of 10 who are able to view the program. They report seeing Bobble the Clown teach lessons similar to the way many children's shows extol the virtues of good hygiene or going to bed on time. But with Bobble, the lessons are quite different.
Exactly. It's like Dora the Explorer if Dora was actually a serial killer, pretty much.
Topics that Bobble has presented lessons on and encouraged children to try have included torture, murder, and even cannibalism.
Bro!
As the subject watches,
Wait, what was that last one?
Become ingrained in their minds, and repeated exposure to the show has resulted in permanent effects that resemble symptoms of psychosis and schizophrenia.
Okay, so it does
Documented
kind of like
episodes
change
Bobble
your
the Clown
mind
have
when you
included
watch the
Bobble
show
in the
as a
Big
kid.
City, in which Bobble appears in a large United States city reminiscent of New York, and instructs the viewer on various ways to avoid detection when lighting fires with common resources like mosquito coils. The episode ends with Bobble setting fire to a large building
serious?
before he exits the screen.
He's like the
camera
real-life
continues
Joker.
To stay locked on the burning building for several more minutes as the sound of screams can be heard.
I kind of want to know, like, who's
In another
filming
title,
this?
Bobble's Sneaky Saturday. Bobble is again in a major city, this time one that looks similar to London, England, with the Elizabeth Tower containing Big Ben visible in the background. In this episode, Bobble is shown to be quietly following a woman as she walks into her home.
Lady,
Once she
turn
arrives,
around, lady.
Bobble attacks her with a large butcher knife before
Bro,
giving the audience
Bobble
tips on
is
how to remain
absolutely
unnoticed in crowded
nuts.
places.
These kids are
Bobble
watching
gets
it
the
like
truth,
this is the
finds
best
clown
content
in a prisoner
they've
of
ever
war
seen.
camp, where Bobble is shown torturing a captured soldier as he
Yo!
asks him nonsensical questions that the soldier cannot possibly answer.
Are you
This
kidding me?
continues until the prisoner dies, after which Bobble details methods for inflicting painful but non-lethal injuries.
Okay, guys, I feel like this actually would make for like a pretty cool, like adult TV series, like some sort of like horror series, but definitely not meant for kids. Like the fact that this is meant for kids under the age of 10 and anybody that's older than 10 falls asleep and is at risk of being, you know, unalived by a young child. The fact that that is like what this SCP is just so messed up, but it would make for a pretty good like Netflix series if, you know, somebody ever decided that they wanted to turn this into some sort of like really cool dark horror series. I think it could work pretty well.
Bobble Hates You is one of the most
Bobble
unnerving
Hates You?
documented episodes.
Bobble?
It consists of Bobble sitting alone
Bobble?
in a blank room,
Bobble?
silently and angrily staring at the viewer.
Bobble, what did
for a
I do?
full 30 minutes.
30 minutes
But
of
the
just
strangest of
staring?
all is from an episode title filled with expletives, in which Bobble appears to be in a Foundation secure site video archive room, the same one where recordings of Bobble the Clown are stored.
Okay, wait a second. So he broke into an SCP facility where they have all of these tapes of Bobble and like previous episodes. So wait, how would that even happen? What is Bobble? Because we think that Bobble is like a normal human, kind of. Maybe not normal, but like, is he a human or is he more like a spirit that can like teleport around? Is he some sort of like demonic creature? Like, we don't know exactly what Bobble even is.
In this episode, a rage-filled Bobble describes methods for breaching several SCPs' containment.
Oh.
He then gives personal details about the researchers assigned to these SCPs,
What?
including their daily routines, before offering several potential ways to murder them.
Okay, so Bobble is like
Interesting
freaking
detail about
nuts.
this episode.
He's actually
At one
nuts.
point, an animated depiction of a particular SCP Foundation researcher is seen to walk past Bobble.
Okay.
A clock on the wall shows the time, and this same researcher later confirmed that they did, in fact, walk through the video archive at this exact time.
Wait, so Bobble
but had
was
no
there?
recollection of seeing an animated clown filming a television program in the room when they did so.
Oh my god.
Episodes of Bobble the Clown continue to be broadcast from an unknown source, but future episodes are to be intercepted using Protocol Upsilon Beta 3 to prevent them from being seen by the public. All broadcasts are recorded for the Foundation's archives, and in order to perform research on the anomaly, subjects under the age of 10 must be used to view them. Once the viewers have described what takes place in the episode, they are then to immediately be administered Class A amnestics.
Gotcha. Let's check this out.
Many people are dead.
Oh my god.
The biker bar is stuffed with bullet-riddled corpses.
Oh my god.
Of Hell's Angels. In the city aquarium, several workers and a night guard float dead.
Oh
in a
my
huge tank,
god!
Being picked at by triggerfish and sharks.
This is a horrible way to start an
construction
SCP
site,
video.
Several men stand frozen, their faces locked in forever grimaces of anguish. Just outside town, the bodies of 2 police officers lay scorched beyond recognition, and even further out, the body of an old farmer hangs from the twisted wire of a fence.
I thought going into this was going to be a very friendly, maybe non-Keter class SCP, but it seems like this might be one of the deadliest SCPs I've ever seen.
What could possibly be behind this town-wide carnage? How could one being be the cause of so much death?
Is it really just like a little stuffed animal?
We need only rewind a few hours.
That's it?
6 p.m. Nobody has any idea of the horrors the night has in store for them. But if they knew about one another, they might have some idea of the clues, the little signs that point to something being just a bit off.
I'm so confused.
Over in the biker bar, the big, tough, leather-clad men, their hair tied back with bandanas and their beards twisted into Viking locks, laugh and shoot pool together. They've completed some good scores lately. Nobody messes with them. They own these streets. It's their strength, their intimidation, and most important of all, the cache of guns in the back of the bar.
Okay, so I'm very curious to see where the Builder-Bear comes into play here, because I've seen the Builder-Bear before, but I've never actually learned about where it came from, and I thought it was like this little stuffed animal bear, kind of like the Build-A-Bear that you make. When I was younger, you would just go in, you would pick out your bear or your stuffed animal, and then you would put a little heart inside. Sometimes you could put in a little voice box and make it say stuff. It's not really that deadly. At least it doesn't seem like it would be. So I'm curious, where does that come into play here?
One biker among them hears something strange, though. Something rustling in the back room.
It's a bear.
Someone infiltrated the armory. He pulls out his side piece, a revolver with a pearlescent handle, and barges into the armory. But the room is empty.
Whoa.
Not just of people, but of weapons.
Somebody stole everything.
All the gun racks are laid bare. His heart drops into his stomach. Seconds later, he's running back into the bar, demanding that the music be shut off. He sounds the alarm, and bikers start scrambling, as though the missing guns might be hiding under the tables. Little do they know that the truth is far, far stranger.
Good, that was it. That was the Builder-Bear. If we go back 5 seconds.
Little do they know.
That is it.
The truth is.
That thing is so creepy, dude. It looks like a Terminator, little tiny 1-foot bear, and it has the guns. It has ammo strapped to its chest, and it looks like it's ready to kill everybody. That is amazing.
Far stranger. Over at the city aquarium, they're wrapping up for the day, seeing off their remaining few customers. Janitors are starting their nightly rounds as night guards suit up and prep for patrol. One more marine biologist who works full-time studying the aquarium's many creatures isn't quite ready to go home for the night. She's made herself a new pot of coffee and is on her way to the octopus tank, containing several of the hyper-intelligent, mysterious mollusks. But when she arrives, she sees a startling sight. All the octopi are gone. Shocked and horrified, she calls over some janitors and a night guard. There are a few other possibilities. Either these slimy escape artists had figured out a way to get out and slither away, or someone had stolen them.
This is so weird. So I'm kind of I don't understand how it all connects. It makes sense that the Builder-Bear, which is basically just a little tiny midget Terminator, would steal all of the guns, right? So that it had more weapons and more ammunition to cause chaos. But why would it need to steal an octopus? It doesn't make any sense to me.
She's in a full panic now. These octopi are vital to her research. But when the others arrive, there's no trace of the creatures. There is, however, a strange pair of tiny, wet footsteps heading towards the tank. Before any of them can react to that, they hear a wet slapping sound behind them. Over at a construction site, work is just ramping up. Plans are being drawn up for the night's work, and construction equipment is being vanned in. The foreman of the construction site is pleased with how everything is progressing, and if everyone does their job right, they'll have all their work completed on schedule. He lives in this state of blissful optimism until one of his workers runs over to him in a panic. Someone has stolen 4 bags of cement. The exact 4 bags of cement they need for setting the foundation. As the foreman calls the company manager to profusely apologize for the delays, the construction workers scramble around the site, looking anywhere they can for the 4 bags. It's not uncommon for equipment to get stolen from construction sites, but bags of cement? That's strange. Though not nearly as strange as the creature approaching the foreman. Step by careful step, its hard gray skin scratching against itself.
It's so tiny but deadly. And also, guys, I'm noticing a pattern here. It seems like Builder-Bear is a kleptomaniac, which means that it likes to steal random objects and things, and apparently creatures too. It's so far has stolen a bunch of weapons, it's stolen a bunch of octopi, and 4 bags of cement. Now, I'm guessing these are all separate occurrences, but I am kind of curious. What if Builder-Bear is building his own aquarium, and then he's using the weapons to guard the aquarium? It could, you never know. You never know. That could be the case.
A pair of police officers in a squad car receive a call over their radio. There are reports of a break-in at a nuclear graveyard across town. A large stone dome covering up a mess of radioactive material from when the city used to have a nuclear power plant. Someone tripped the alarm on the perimeter gate, and someone needs to get there and apprehend the intruder before they do something they seriously regret. The officers arrive not so long after and see a hole cut into the fence. But the hole is weirdly low and small. Was the person who broke in a small child?
I can't wait to see the Builder-Bear.
Hurry. The 2 officers pull out their flashlights and head up to the gate, opening it and walking through. Just as they're starting to wonder whether they should have brought some kind of radiation guard, they feel a strange, warm sensation on their skin, like a tanning bed, like blistering sunlight.
That's not good.
In the middle of the night. They turn and try to see what's walking towards them. The air seems to distort and wobble, even in the dark. Then, there's a flash of bright, eye-searing light, and both the officers scream.
It's Builder-Bear!
On a farm nestled in the sticks outside the town, an old farmer is carrying out his twilight rounds. He's hammering in fence posts, making sure the sheep, cows, and chickens are fenced off. He's about to turn in for the night when he sees a goat, his goat, wandering out in the fields beyond his own. He doesn't know how this thing escaped, but in any case, he needs to get it back. As he walks to the edge of the farm, he finds out why. Someone has ripped away all the barbed wire from a section of the outer fence. The wire is completely gone.
That has to be so confusing. Just like you're a farmer out in the middle of the forest at night, and you're just like, oh, cool, I'm just gonna like turn it in for the night. And then out of nowhere, all of your barbed wire is missing. Like, who would do that? Who steals barbed wire? It would literally scratch you to death if you tried to steal that.
It doesn't make sense. His mind fills with questions, and one awful, monstrous answer is standing right behind him.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Then, all across town, the chaos begins. Back in the biker bar, there's a quiet tapping amidst the chaos of heavy leather boots tromping back and forth. The tap, tap, tap of metal against wooden floorboards. The bikers turn in unison to the back of the bar, where something small and squat is limping out of the shadows. When it steps into the light, the bikers can hardly believe what they're seeing.
I know that it's supposed to be like really creepy and menacing, but it's so funny to me that this like deadly SCP is literally like basically a little tiny stuffed teddy bear. That's so funny. And I'm also curious too, since we've been hearing all of these stories about how Builder-Bear has, you know, stolen the octopi, stolen the cement, I wonder if there's multiple Builder-Bears. Like, I've only ever known there to be one, but I wonder if this is an SCP that either can clone itself or there's just like a mass amount of Builder-Bears that kind of just roam around and they steal stuff and they kind of like use the stuff that they steal almost to like upgrade their bodies. Like, this guy obviously stole weapons and ammo and guns, so he turned into the Terminator. But I wonder if the other Builder-Bear, since it went into the uranium, like if it used that as a power-up, and maybe it can use the octopi to like give itself giant tentacle upgrades and you know, stuff like that.
It's a teddy bear, a living, walking teddy bear, made out of guns. Its body is an amalgam of stocks and ammo belts. It walks on a pair of spindly rifle barrels for legs. Its eyes are scopes and laser sights, and perhaps most striking are its arms. The left arm is an Uzi submachine gun, and the right is an AA-12 fully automatic drum barrel shotgun.
That is so
the
cool.
Bikers recognize every gun as their own. But before their many minds can compute another thought, the gun bear raises its shotgun and Uzi arms and begins blasting.
No way!
Bullet after bullet tears
Wow.
through the bikers, dropping them one by
That's
one.
insane.
Some scramble for the door, but it doesn't save them.
Nope.
In a matter of moments, as gunshots ring throughout the bar, every single biker is dead.
By a tiny
Over
teddy
at the
bear.
aquarium, things aren't going much better. The marine biologist and her coworkers turn to see a strange figure standing
Oh,
atop
I
the
think
tank.
I was right.
It's in the shape of a teddy bear. But the biologist can clearly see that it's about 5 octopi fused together in some nightmarish and unnatural conglomeration.
Okay, I did not know this about Builder-Bear. I only have seen Builder-Bear, I mean, weirdly enough, from a Minecraft mod, and it usually either looked like a teddy bear or it looked like the Terminator version that we just saw a second ago, where it had a bunch of weapons and guns and grenades strapped to it. I didn't realize that Builder-Bear was kind of like Upgrade from Ben 10, where it can pretty much like take over other creatures and machinery and basically turn its body into whatever it is that it steals. Like, that is so cool.
The tentacles stretch out and grab the aquarium staff, lifting them
Cool,
with
but
impossible
deadly.
strength and force them down into the tank. They struggle and thrash against the slimy tentacles holding them in place underwater, but it's no use.
I wonder why Builder-Bear is
The
so
octopi bear
deadly.
is in total control.
Like, why does it want to kill everybody?
Bubbles rise as the unfortunate aquarium staff struggle, but those bubbles eventually stop.
All right,
Everyone in the tank floats, dead. The work of the octopi bear isn't over yet, though. It drags the waterlogged corpses of the marine biologist, the cleaners, and the night guard across the aquarium floor,
Why?
leaving a wet trail. Eventually, it throws the bodies into the main aquarium tank and watches with a slimy, blank expression as the fish begin to feed.
Oh, why?
Back at the
That's
construction
so
site,
weird.
the workers are frozen, but not in fear. The entity that stepped out of the shadows of the construction site is a teddy bear made of solid cement.
It looks so cute.
Constructed out of the 4 stolen bags. The second the foreman saw it, he called in the other workers to see, dooming them to share his fate. As some of them reach into their jackets to grab phones, eager to take photos, just to see if this truly is happening, the cement teddy bear screams.
What?
It's an awful sound, the screech of metal on metal, like a broken cement mixer spinning off kilter.
Oh my God.
Threatening to explode.
What?
But it doesn't explode. It just keeps screeching. And as it screeches, the workers and the
Whoa.
foreman are frozen in place. As much as they try with all their might, it's like their bodies are turning into concrete.
Huh?
No, it isn't like that at all. That's exactly what's happening. Their skin is
What?
taking on a slate gray hue, becoming rigid and brittle.
Are you serious?
Little by little, their bodies freeze and harden. Their eyes go after all the rest as they watch themselves becoming living statues, trapped forever.
I'm getting
in the shell
goosebumps.
of
That
their
is
own
the
bodies.
scariest one yet.
The cement teddy bear walks among them, and it begins to dance. Over at the nuclear graveyard, another 2
This might be my new favorite SCP.
corpses are about to be interred. That flash of light is actually a localized blast of radiation that would make Chernobyl look positively quaint, frying the officers on a cellular level in less time than it would take for a camera to take a photograph. They lay on the ground,
Wow.
skin burnt, vomiting profusely.
Oh.
They twitch and squirm, not quite dead, but trapped in a void of unimaginable pain. Every thought burned out of their head. Their killer walks towards them on tiny, flat feet. As you may have predicted, it's a teddy bear, a living, walking teddy bear, cobbled together out of radioactive material. What it's done to the 2 police officers is horrifying, but if it gets into the city proper, the death toll will quickly climb into the thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands. But the violence and terror of the night is not quite over yet.
Okay, guys, so obviously this Builder-Bear, even though it's cute, it's cuddly, this might be one of the deadliest SCPs that I've ever watched a video on, and I'm kind of curious, like, what would you combine Builder-Bear with if you had the opportunity? I mean, it seems like the deadliest one that we saw so far was Builder-Bear combined with nuclear radioactive material, because then it's basically just like a walking nuclear bomb. But I am kind of curious, what would you try to combine the Builder-Bear with to make it the most powerful thing you've ever seen? Comment down below.
We return to the farm, where a farmer can only just make out a tiny figure stomping across the grass towards him. He hears it before he sees it and whips around, the strange jangling of metal against metal.
He immediately regrets not bringing his gun, but it's too late for regrets now. He can see it now. The freakish little teddy bear made out of twisted barbed wire. Tendrils of the wire strip away from the teddy bear's body and launch towards him like angry vipers.
That's so scary.
They wrap around his body and limbs, around his neck, and tie him to a fence post.
Ouch.
He tries to struggle, but every movement hurts as more barbed wire cocoons him. Out on the field, the goat looks on with complete indifference. What you just witnessed is a series of horrifying impossibilities.
Yes!
Unless, of course, you're dealing with SCP-1048.
It looks so
a
cute.
singularly strange anomaly known as the Builder Bear. But please don't let the apparent whimsy of that name fool you. What we're dealing with here is an extremely dangerous Keter-class anomaly.
Oh yeah.
But before we get there, we need to explore some background information on the entity before it revealed its darker side. SCP-1048 is a relatively small and unassuming teddy bear, standing at only 33 centimeters tall. Researchers have studied the materials and composition behind the Builder Bear, and found that nothing about it is inherently anomalous. But despite this, the bear appears to be fully sapient and capable of moving of its own accord. While it is incapable of speech, it can communicate through some small gestures, all of which are extremely sweet and affectionate.
That's so weird. Like, it looks like it's friendly and it looks like it doesn't want to kill anything or anybody, but then what we just saw completely is the opposite of that. Like, this thing is extremely deadly and it could explode entire cities if it wanted to.
Yes, you heard that correctly. One of the most surprising things about SCP-1048, if you're only familiar with it by reputation, is the fact that most people who directly encounter it find it endearing and even adorable.
Yeah, it's
cute. It shows
cute.
affection to human subjects by hugging their lower leg, dancing, jumping in place, and even drawing childlike crayon pictures for Foundation janitorial staff.
Yeah, what turns it into this, like, evil creature?
Almost everyone reported positive feelings towards SCP-1048, even D-Class personnel who had tested positive for sociopathic tendencies. Despite its seemingly charming exterior, the inner workings of the Builder Bear's mind still remain a mystery. Attempts to communicate with the anomaly directly have failed, because although it is capable of making simple gestures indicating yes and no answers, it will often simply ignore certain questions. Specifically, it will completely stonewall any questions about its origins, which is partly why the Foundation knows so little except for what it can directly observe. Whether the Builder Bear declines to answer because it doesn't know, or because it doesn't want to share, is an open question.
I'm also, kind of curious, how is it able to communicate? It said that, it can give some small gestures, like it can raise its hand, so maybe they just ask it yes or no questions. But I mean, even then, I don't think that it would want to explain its origin, because obviously the SCP Foundation, they want to figure out where it came from and possibly, how to contain it and maybe even destroy it if need be, because this thing clearly started out as being like cute and cuddly and friendly, but then it turned into something that they couldn't even control.
And while the Builder Bear is capable of drawing pictures, these are purely for the aesthetic value of the pictures themselves, not a means of communication. It's yet another mystery for the enigmatic bear. 7 months after first being contained in Site-24, Foundation personnel were able to first observe the Builder Bear's secondary anomalous effect, the one that gave it its namesake. Its ability to create crude living replicas of itself from various materials. This would be fine and dandy.
Okay, so
for the fact
replicas. So that means that every Builder Bear that we saw in today's video was a replica of the original bear that, either was the Terminator or it was an octopi or whatever it wants to make. It seems like if it gets that material, it can basically just recreate itself using that material.
that these replicas are invariably extremely hostile and dangerous. Dr. Carver, the head researcher on the SCP-1048 case, posited that, in hindsight, the reason that the Builder Bear behaved so affectionately to staff around Site-24 was to lull its victims into a false sense of security, making it easier to collect materials for its secondary anomalous pursuits. Dr. Carver outlined case studies of the 3 most dangerous SCP-1048 creations that have manifested in Site-24 since the Builder Bear started its grim construction project. These creations have been labeled SCP-1048-A, SCP-1048-B, and SCP-1048-C.
So these are all of the replicas.
I'd like to personally warn you that the accounts of these 3 devious bears are disturbing beyond belief, even by the standards of anomalies studied by the SCP Foundation. During the first incident, SCP-1048 was spotted
Oh!
working with SCP-1048-A
What is
down
that?
the hallway in Site-24. 1048-A is similar to its creator
What?
in size and shape, except that it's
Ears?
made entirely from human ears.
What?
Dr. Carver was immediately alerted to the
Dudes!
creature's presence.
No!
He dispatched a security team to apprehend
Burn
both
that thing
anomalies.
with fire.
However,
that is
what
gross.
seemed like what would be a simple mission instead became a nightmarish case of mass death. As soon as the security team surrounded the two bears, 1048-A let out an impossibly loud, ear-piercing shriek that induced physical pain in everyone within a 10-meter range.
Wow.
But we're not just talking about hearing loss here. Everyone within hearing range began collapsing, growing
What?
ears all
Whoa.
over their body,
Whoa.
covering every inch of their skin. The two bears managed to escape during the chaos, and
Whoa.
Dr. Carver arrived just too late to make any difference. Though luckily for him, he was at least able to avoid becoming an ear-abomination. This incident resulted in personnel deaths in the double digits. The cause of death, mainly suffocation from all the ears that had grown in the throats and lungs of all those affected. 1048-A has still not been contained.
Oh, it's still out there?
While 1048-A was hardly a walk in the park, 1048-B was, in this humble scientist's opinion, considerably more revolting.
Are you serious?
I will have to tread carefully here, as the creation of 1048-B is an extremely traumatic incident
could it
for
be?
an active duty member of Foundation personnel who still works at Site-24 to this day. In order to remain within the bounds of good taste, we'll say that 1048-B looks
Whoa.
like a frightening cross between a plush teddy bear and a human infant.
Are you serious?
Before the creation of 1048-B,
No.
the anonymous researcher I mentioned earlier was heavily pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Afterwards, she was not.
What?
The less said about that, the better.
What?
Moving on. The third of the documented SCP-1048 creations is perhaps even more frightening and dangerous than the other two.
Are you kidding me? They get worse?
1048-C was first spotted by Dr. Carver himself, lurking in his office. 1048-C is another living teddy bear,
What
made
is that?
entirely from rusted scrap metal and jagged
that's
blades.
horrible.
The second that Dr. Carver spotted the metal monster, it got away, fatally slicing and dicing its way through a number of Site-24
Yeah.
guards during its escape.
You can't contain that. It's like a bunch of just scrap metal that could cut you and give you all types of diseases running around. Like, even if you touch it, you're going to get cut up.
Like the other two, it has not been sighted since the incident and is presumed to be still active somewhere in Site-24.
Where are they
potentially
going?
ready to pop out at any moment. It brings a whole new meaning to the term bad news bears. Those well-versed in the anomalous files of the SCP Foundation may be feeling a strange flicker of memory right now. That's because SCP-1048 isn't the only anomalous teddy bear out there.
Oh.
And its counterpart,
Oh.
SCP-2295,
There's more.
the bear with a heart of patchwork, seems to be its perfect opposite in terms of temperament.
Interesting.
It goes without saying that SCP-1048 and its terrifying copies are a menace to everyone it encounters.
That's what it seems like.
But the bear with a heart of patchwork endeavors to save injured human beings whenever it can.
Oh, wow.
If this benevolent bear discovers a person with a severe injury or a disease causing organ failure, it will immediately leap into action. Like a cuddly trauma
Aw.
surgeon, SCP-2295 will take a needle and thread and begin making a fully functional plush organ out of its own material.
That's kind of cool. I mean, this one, I'm not going to lie, it looks a little bit creepy with all of like the stitch work and the X's on the eyes and everything. But it is kind of funny because this one is the good one. And the other one, even though it looks cuddly and friendly, it's actually all fake. It's just trying to lure people in so that they think that it's friendly. And then boom, it'll spawn in literally every bad thing that you could think of in the form of a teddy bear to destroy everything.
It will then attempt to perform transplant surgery, and if the surgery is successful, this patchwork organ will function exactly as a regular one.
Okay, that's really
the
cool.
bear has saved many lives like this. In fact, SCP-2295 is so benevolent that in cases where the surgery fails, it's been witnessed doubled
Aw.
over and crying over the loss of
Poor
life.
little guy.
This is a courtesy that you cannot expect if your life is brought to an abrupt demise by one of SCP-1048's
Yeah,
many copies.
nope.
The containment procedures for SCP-1048 have undergone considerable evolution as the Foundation learned more about the entity's anomalous effects. Originally classified as safe before its secondary characteristics manifested, the anomaly is now classified as Keter.
As it should be.
Its original containment procedures are also shockingly lax given what we know now. 1048 was given free rein to wander around Site-24 and interact with personnel to
Okay, that should never happen. Like, if you are in the SCP Foundation, how could you ever let an SCP just roam freely, even if they are safe? Like, you shouldn't just let it run around free because of situations just like this, where it seems like it's safe, but it's smarter than you. So it literally tricked the SCP Foundation into thinking that it was one thing when it was actually the other.
heart's content, a policy that we now know had terrible consequences. Technically speaking, SCP-1048 isn't contained. Many believe that it still lurks somewhere inside Site-24.
Oh, they don't know where it is.
Nobody can know this for sure.
What?
The orders for all active Foundation personnel is to apprehend SCP-1048 on site and to immediately destroy any of its deadly creations with extreme prejudice. The dangers posed by SCP-1048 are so great that even non-anomalous teddy bears are banned from Site-24 to prevent any potential confusion.
Wow.
Any object resembling a bear is to be reported to the site security team to avoid a potential mass casualty event. Dr. Carver appended a note to SCP-1048's containment procedures saying, "This is not a joke. We have no idea what SCP-1048's full capabilities are. Who knows how many of the damn things are out there by now?"
That is true.
It's a disquieting thought, to say the least. The Builder Bear is one of the most peculiar and dangerous self-perpetuating anomalies out there, with incredibly unpredictable abilities across its different iterations. If you want to stay safe, my recommendation is to be wary of any stuffed bears you may see lying around. If you're lucky, it's just another adorable plush creature. If you're unlucky, well, I hope you've made all the proper arrangements.
Let's check this
A
out.
group of 3 Class D personnel approach the locked containment chamber. One of them is carrying a bucket and mop, but all 3 of them look jumpy and hesitant to move forward. An SCP Foundation guard walking behind them gives one of them a push forward with the barrel of his gun.
So for those of you guys that haven't seen an SCP video from me before, these guys in the orange jumpsuits are D-class personnel, and they are basically like test subjects that the SCP Foundation puts in with dangerous SCPs to see what will happen.
He continues stepping towards the cell door. All 3 of them nervously stare at the heavy, locked metal door. Behind it, the sound of stone scraping against metal can be heard coming from
Oh,
inside.
that's it, guys.
A
That's
second
the
guard
statue
standing next to the
SCP.
door asks the 3 if they are ready. They don't answer, and the
I
guard
wouldn't be.
starts to laugh.
Oh, that's messed
never
up,
are.
dudes.
The guard loudly announces that special containment procedures are beginning now. You know the
Okay.
rules. 2 maintain eye contact at all times while the other cleans. If you have to blink, do it 1 eye at a time, and announce before you close even 1 eye so everyone knows. The guard turns and starts to enter a code into the keypad next to the door. Each of the D classes take a couple hard, last blinks, taking the last opportunity they have to shut both of their eyes at the same time before they begin.
So guys, if you don't know this about the statue SCP, you have to look at it at all times. It's kind of like a weeping angel from the Doctor Who universe, where you have to maintain some sort of eye contact or else it will come up behind you and it will kill you. Literally, that's what happens. So that's why they're sending in 3 D-class personnel. Now, the only problem is if there's no light in the room, then you can't see the SCP. So I have a weird feeling that's what's going to happen. The lights will go out, and then the statue will be released into this Foundation.
With a loud hiss, the sealed chamber door unseals. "All right, eyes up," the guard commands. The door opens to reveal a small, dimly lit chamber. There are no furnishings, and much of the metal floor and walls are covered in a reddish-brown substance.
That stuff is
And there in the
gross.
corner is what they've heard stories and rumors about. The thing that has given them nightmares ever since they learned that they would have
It's
to enter
hideous.
the containment chamber. SCP-1073. Or as most of the staff in the SCP Foundation call it, the sculpture.
Oh, sorry, the sculpture, not the
It looks
statue.
so unassuming in person. Just a crude concrete figure with a stupid-looking spray-painted face, standing motionless.
Dr. Bob, you gotta chill, man. Do not offend this SCP, or else this SCP might, come around someday and, do bad things to you.
In the corner. The 3 D classes get another push from the guard behind them, and they enter the chamber. The 2 assigned to watch SCP-173 assume their position in the middle of the room.
Do
their
not
eyes
blink.
locked on the sculpture, as the other starts cleaning the foul substance off the floor and walls. It smells terrible, like a mix of old blood and human waste.
What is
The two
that?
assigned to watch 173 pay no attention to the one cleaning, though. They follow protocol to a T, maintaining their vigil and announcing each time they are going to blink, even if it is only one
Can you
eye.
guys do this?
The third one continues cleaning, trying
If
his
you
best
can,
to
leave a
keep
like
his own
on today's
eyes
video.
locked on the sculpture as he attempts to mop around it without getting too close. D5933 does his job and doesn't break eye contact with SCP-173.
Oh my gosh,
Even though
they're
it
right
hasn't
next to
moved,
it.
He can feel the presence of the sculpture, something within it, just waiting for him to slip up.
I don't
to let his
like
eyes
this.
avert for just one split second. They say that's all it takes. You stop looking for even an instant, and it's all over. With all of the fear coursing through his veins, it is hard to maintain focus. All he can think about is how dry his eyes feel, and blinking them one at a time never seems to be enough. He wants so badly to shut his eyes, to end their itchy, dry feeling. But he can't. Even with another watcher, it's too risky. There's suddenly a loud crack.
Whoa.
But D5933 doesn't move his eyes away from 173.
What?
He can see in his periphery that the other D-Class dropped his broom and instinctively looked down at it. Luckily for him, there were others watching.
Okay, guys, I thought that somebody maybe unleashed some other SCP and then it killed one of the other D-Class personnel. I thought maybe, I don't know, like SCP-173 decided that, yeah, he would just break all rules of the SCP universe and then just start attacking. But it seems like it was just the broom. So for now, I guess they're safe. For now.
D5933 shifts in place, taking a step back and bumps into something. He can't look at what it is, but he reaches behind him and feels that it's the other D-Class watcher.
Okay, this is getting
Wait a
kind of
minute.
weird.
Why is he facing the other way?
Is there...
What are you doing? What's going
Wait.
on? He asks, his eyes never leaving SCP-173. What are you talking about? The other D-Class asks back.
What's
You're
happening?
facing the wrong way. I'm facing the wrong way. You're facing the wrong way. We're supposed to be watching 173. What are you looking at?
What's
I
happening?
am looking at 173. What are you...
Guys, wait a second. Are there two SCPs? Did it somehow duplicate into two? Because if that's the case, guys, I don't know if they're gonna survive this encounter. I didn't realize that the sculpture SCP was able to duplicate. I've never heard of that before.
you looking at? D5933 doesn't know what's going on and starts to panic.
I
The one
would
cleaning
too.
is focused on his task.
Stop,
trying as hard
look
as
at-
he
look
can
at
to
the-
quickly
look at the
mop up an
sculpture.
especially dirty corner of the cell. It's the worst sound D5933 could have heard. Achoo!
No!
A sneeze, just
No!
inches behind his head, followed by the sound of bones
Oh!
being cracked. A scream
See, guys, that's how you know he's dead. That guy just got destroyed. He got deleted.
that was cut off too short, and then a sick thud as a body dropped to the floor. D5933 doesn't even have a chance to scream before a pair of concrete hands grab his neck, and his own head is
Are
twisted
you
around.
serious?
To see another identical-looking sculpture staring back at him.
So it did multiply itself somehow, which I've watched videos about the sculpture SCP, guys, and I've never heard of this SCP ever multiplying. Like, it's supposed to be just one sculpture SCP, and that's all that you have to worry about, but there's two. And if there's two, that means there could be three, there could be 4, 5, there could be an infinite amount of these sculpture SCPs.
Ladies and gentlemen of the O5 Council, we have a problem.
Well,
The
yeah.
senior researcher is giving a presentation to a group who remain largely in the shadows, obscuring both their identities as well as their reactions to his horrendous news. SCP-
This will be their reaction. What? It can multiply? What? That's probably what their faces would look like if we could see them.
173, through means which we have not yet been able to determine, has multiplied.
What the heck?
No reaction from
Are
the
you
researcher
kidding
figure
me?
Seated around the large curved table. The researcher in charge of SCP-173 waits for a response, anything at all. But after receiving none, he clears his throat and continues. We gave each of the new instances their own designation, SCP-173-1 and SCP-173-2. Two of the D-Class on observation duty during their regular cleaning of 173's cell were killed.
Wait, so that means this guy who was cleaning somehow made it out alive. He was able to look at both of the SCPs at the same time. That's honestly pretty impressive. His eyeballs were probably going like in two different directions.
The third was able to keep them both in his line of sight until they could be recontained and moved into separate cells.
Wow.
Again, no reaction from the shadows. But as you know, this wasn't the end of it. At some point, the instances of SCP-1073 multiplied again,
Huh?
each splitting to form yet another instance.
Guys, I was right. So because there's 2, that means now there could be 3, there could be 4, and there's a confirmed 4 sculpture SCPs, which I don't know if I want to live in a world where there's more than just one of these absolutely terrifying creatures. Like, how are you supposed to contain 1, let alone 4, and they could just keep multiplying?
SCP-173-1 through 4 are all contained separately, but we don't know if or when another split will occur. The senior researcher waits, but no one on the O5 Council speaks or moves until the one seated in the very middle slides a piece of paper across the table in front of him. The senior researcher looks confused. He looks to the mobile task force guard stationed near the door, but he too remains expressionless, eyes locked straight ahead. The researcher, unsure of what else to do, steps away from the lectern and walks towards the table. He picks up the piece of paper and reads it. Object class, upgrade from Euclid to Keter. Orders, continue observation.
So for those of you guys that don't know, there are 3 different classes when it comes to SCP. There's the safe class, which are SCPs that are, you know, like the title kind of says, safe. You don't really have to worry about them too much. Euclid class are SCPs that are kind of like neutral, where if you don't mess with them, they won't mess with you. And the Keter class SCPs are the ones that are extremely dangerous and need to be contained and monitored at all costs. So this guy just got upgraded from like a neutral class to a very aggressive, like red Keter class that they need to make sure stays contained, or else all havoc could break loose.
The senior researcher nods in agreement, thanks the O5 Council for their time, and leaves the room. Lights flash and siren blare in the halls of Site-19. It's a containment breach. Facility staff, researchers, and site guards all run down the hall, screaming, trying desperately to get away.
Seriously?
There's no hope for any of them, though. In a flash, SCP-173 instances appear behind them.
Okay, guys. Well, I mean, I get that this is definitely one of those instances that's super scary, but this is an SCP that, like, we know how to contain. All you have to do is look at it. So if there's a bunch of people that are like trapped with this SCP, all they have to do is go like back to back to back and then just take turns blinking like this. And if you just keep doing this, the SCP can't do anything. So as long as you're doing this, you know, forever, we're okay. You just got to do this until we figure out how to contain this guy. So, yeah.
Snapping their necks and dropping them to the floor before moving on to their next victim. There must be dozens of them. Even as a guard tries to keep their eyes on one instance, preventing it from moving, another appears behind them. The staff of Site-19 flee for their lives, screaming for someone, anyone to help them.
This is
The senior
crazy.
researcher presses pause on the video. The terrified face of the senior researcher who gave the last presentation is frozen on the screen. An instance of SCP-173 is directly behind them.
How did this
His hand
happen?
wrapped around his neck in the split second before his life was snuffed out. The new researcher giving the presentation looks considerably more frazzled than his predecessor. He explains to the O5 Council that following this horrific containment breach at Site-19, at least 61 instances of SCP-173 are now unaccounted for.
61?
It is still unknown how they are replicating, but worryingly, there is evidence that the process may be speeding up. He presses play on a new clip from the security footage, which shows what appears to be multiple instances of 173 working in tandem, some using their bodies to block exits, others creating choke points in the facility corridors. We have theorized that SCP-173, as we are now referring to the collective instances, may possess a form of hive intelligence. It also appears
So basically, they all share the same brain of whatever the original SCP-173 is. So maybe if they can locate the original one that started the whole entire like clone multiplication process, maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe if they destroy that somehow, some way, or at least contain it, then they'll be able to contain all of the other SCPs. But we really have no idea.
that this intelligence scales with the number of instances that are nearby. This allowed them to implement tactics that thwarted our containment efforts, as they used instances to block our containment teams from being able to pursue others. What you have in front of you is a proposal for revised special containment procedures. What I recommend may sound drastic, but it's what I truly believe is the only way to contain this threat.
You
Each
gotta
of the
do
O5
a
council
nuclear
members
bomb.
picks up the
Just
folder in front
nuke
of
the
them,
whole place.
bringing it
Blow
into
it
the
up.
shadows that obscure them. What I propose is that SCP-173 instances no longer be kept in containment cells, but instead placed inside of form-fitting metal containers. We can then use SCP-120 to transport the instances to the Foundation site on the lunar surface. The facility will have to be abandoned, of course.
I'd never heard of SCP-120, but I'm guessing that is some sort of safe class SCP that you could use to just teleport things wherever you really want to teleport them to. So that's pretty cool.
Of course. It's too risky to maintain a presence there, but each of the instances will be fitted with a tracking collar to ensure that we will be able to detect if any of them are somehow able to escape. The senior researcher waits. After a time, a paper is once again slid across the table. He approaches and picks it up. He sees that it is the same folder containing the revised Special Containment Procedures proposal.
So guys, the people that are giving these like special documents is the O5 Council, and they're basically like the people at the top of the SCP Foundation. They give out the orders, they make new SCP Foundation sites, they, discover new SCPs, and they basically are the people that are calling the shots. They're kind of like the presidents of the SCP Foundation.
He opens it to find that it has been stamped, approved.
Oh, cool. So that's the plan.
Breaking news flashes across the screen. A worried-looking reporter appears as though she didn't have time to do her hair or makeup before rushing on air to deliver this special report.
Okay.
She explains that civilian deaths across North America are now estimated to be more than 500,000 people in the last 48 hours, as these still unidentified creatures continue their deadly rampage across the continent.
Are you kidding me? The SCP Foundation completely failed, and they literally let the SCP go on a rampage. That is insane.
It is unknown how many of them there may be.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, just hide.
That there may be hundreds, if not thousands, or even tens of thousands of these living, neck-snapping sculptures. The reporter explains that rumors are circulating that the creature can be stopped by maintaining eye contact with it.
Yes.
But this has yet to be confirmed. There is still no official word from the White House or from any members of Congress, and their current location and status are unknown, following reports that most of Washington, D.C. was overrun by the creatures earlier that day. The reporter suddenly stops speaking.
Oh,
and
no.
a terrified look comes over her face.
Oh, they're
her
there.
Eyes locked on something just off screen.
Oh, dude.
The camera pans over to show an instance of SCP.
The cameraman is an SCP.
SCP-173 standing over a dead cameraman.
Oh, no, that's
There's
the
a
cameraman.
scream, and the camera goes back to the reporter, who now lies dead on her desk.
All
her
right.
head twisted 180 degrees before there's another sound of bones breaking.
Okay.
A woman in an SCP researcher coat sits at a computer terminal in a secure bunker, a large, jeweled medallion around her neck.
Okay, that has to be an
Personal
SCP.
log of Dr. Bright. From the little news I've been able to gather, it sounds like SCP-173 has besieged and destroyed 4 Foundation facilities pretty much simultaneously in the last 24 hours. Each instance...
Guys, the sculpture is about to take over the entire world. Like, I knew this SCP was deadly, but the thing was, it was contained when there was just one of them. So if they ever, did multiply, this is probably what would happen.
shows the same strength as the original, and thousands of them working together are capable of ripping open concrete bunkers and compromising foot-thick steel doors.
Wow.
I alone have been killed 37 times in the last week. They can smell me somehow,
What?
regardless of what body I'm in. The majority decision of the remaining O5s is that this is an XK-class end-of-the-world scenario unfolding.
Oh my goodness.
They're gonna deal with the problem, or else the Russians are. They're evacuating this base, which means there won't be a single Foundation scientist anywhere in the New World. They say they're gonna try to evacuate the surviving civilians, but I doubt it. There can't be more than a couple hundred people in all of North America anyway.
That's it?
I managed to make it down to a secure bunker, but who knows how long it will be until they're able to get in.
So I am kind of curious about one thing, guys, which I'm sure that you guys are too. How do the SCPs, how does the sculpture know where people are, right? Because they're going around and obviously they're destroying all of civilization, but it's kind of strange that they know exactly where to go. This location seems like it's in the middle of nowhere, and somehow these SCPs are able to track this person down and kill them. They're going to break down this door, they're going to go down into the bunker, and bada bing, bada boom, it's over. So I don't know how they're this smart, honestly. So comment down below if you have any ideas.
I don't think there's any chance I can get out either. I'm running out of food, and I'm not sure which will get me first. Hunger, the sculptures, or what I know the O5s will inevitably do. Dr.
What are they
Bright
going to
closes the
do?
Computer terminal and sits back in her chair. She looks up at the ceiling of the bunker where the sound of concrete scratching against metal can be
they're
heard
there.
through the thick walls.
They're there, dude.
A sullen and tired-looking researcher steps out of a room in the makeshift Foundation site that has been established just outside of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. He's holding a piece of paper and closes the door behind him, which has had O5 Council authorized entry only hastily painted on the outside. A small group of Foundation staff are waiting for him. They've gathered to hear what the overseers have decided to do in the face of this world-ending disaster. The researcher looks around at his colleagues' faces, and as they make eye contact,
it doesn't look
any
good.
hope they had is quickly replaced by the bad news they know is coming. He begins to read. Revised Special Containment Procedures. Containment Zone X1, formerly North and South America, is to be denied access. Following
What?
saturation nuclear bombing, the number of SCP-173 instances has been reduced.
I know I said that earlier, that they should have like nuked the original site, and it seems like they did that. It's just like a day a day too late, it seems. So yeah, they totally should have took my advice and done that at the start.
All available Foundation resources are to be redirected to monitoring the ocean to ensure the integrity of Containment Zone X1. Foundation adjuncts from national navies are to perform around-the-clock patrols and sonar sweeps. Detected instances are to be contained and removed to SCP-120 for transport to the lunar containment site. That's it? One of the staff members asks. That's it,
Wow.
the researcher replies. Several of those present begin to cry.
I mean,
There's
I
nothing
would
more they can
too.
do. Their homes,
It's
their
over.
friends, their families, all of them are gone. Killed either by the neck-wrenching sculptures or in the heat of a nuclear blast.
Guys, I know that this seems really bad, but imagine if instead of this sculpture, it was Shy Guy that could multiply. Shy Guy is an SCP that's, I think, even more powerful than the sculpture. So, like, just imagine that. Imagine, like, a million Shy Guys running around and then just destroying everything and everybody. That would be way worse than this. And you can't even really destroy them.
Why? Why did they have to do it? One of the other staff, who appears to be a former site guard, asks. That's all we could do, another argues. There's much disagreement in the small crowd. No matter how they feel, though, this was the official order from the O5 Council. Their word is law, especially in a world where all law and order outside of the Foundation has broken down. There really was no other option. All they can do now is hope that the sacrifice of 2 whole continents was enough to keep it contained, that SCP-173 is unable to cross the ocean to Europe, and that they remain safe on this side of the planet. The group grows quiet, mourning the loss of the world they once knew, when the silence is suddenly interrupted by someone running down the hall. It's another researcher, carrying his own piece of paper. He tries to push past the group towards the O5 Council's door, insisting that they let him through.
Mr. Glasses has a solution.
Wait, what is it? Demands the group. We deserve to know. The group wrestles the paper away from the junior researcher, and it is passed through the group to the same man who read the revised special containment procedures. He quickly reads the report. It's just a couple of lines, and his face goes white.
Oh.
What is it? What does it say? Comes a question from the crowd. A message from the North Atlantic Navy General Command. Verified sighting of SCP-173 in the United Kingdom. Nuclear bombardment authorized and executed.
What?
No survivors. SCP-173 has come for them.
A man opens his mouth to bite a hot dog and
Sounds like
suddenly
me.
freezes. His eyes widen, and the hot dog drops from his hand, falling to
Okay.
the ground. Ahead, a stampede of people is running toward him, screaming, crying out for help.
Why?
Behind them, a man walks at an ordinary, casual pace, but something is off. His eyes have a glazed, unfocused look to them. and he keeps
Okay.
shoveling random items into his open mouth.
That's kinda
swallowing
weird.
them down. He eats a clipboard and pen, a discarded shoe, and as the first man watches in horror, the very hungry man grabs the ankle of a fallen member of the crowd
what?
and pulls him into
No.
his mouth, devouring him. The first man turns to run for his life, only to be knocked to the ground by the rest of the crowd, trying to escape. He struggles to climb back to his feet, and a hand reaches out to take his.
Oh, is that
When he makes it
Mr.
to his
Hungry?
feet, he looks up and sees the hungry
Oh
man. pulling
my
him in,
goodness.
Mouth stretching.
He
open
looks like a
wide.
Titan from Attack on
The sky
Titan,
is
but
a
normal
perfect
size.
Cloudless blue. The air is warm from the unbroken sunlight, but cooled to the perfect temperature by a gentle breeze.
So it's a
There is
nice
sense
day.
of electricity, excitement, and competition in the air.
Okay.
Throngs of people have gathered together in a makeshift arena, piled into plastic chairs and swarming around concession
I'm gonna guess
stands,
it's some sort of
all
eating
training their eyes
competition.
on the arena's center. What are they here for? Some sort of Olympic Games? A baseball tournament? A horse race? No, it's something greater, something meatier. It is the annual Midsummer Hot Dog Eating Contest, and locals and tourists alike are coming together to see just who can cram the
Where's
most
Joey
pork or beef
Chestnut?
hot dogs and buns
pretty
down
sure he
their
wins,
gullet
like, every
in front
year.
of a roaring crowd. The announcer makes his way to the front of the arena, standing with his arms wide in front of the long table behind him. As he calls out the names of this year's contestants, they file in, each taking his place behind the table. There is the previous year's champion, a burly man with a bushy beard and twinkling eyes.
I'm kind of curious if we'll see Mr. Hungry, aka SCP-913, as one of the contestants here today.
And there is this year's surprise competitor, a skinny 19-year-old college student with a hungry grin. Then there are the lesser-known contestants, a local father who signed up after making a joke with his daughter, an uncle who scrawled his name on the sign-up sheet after a few too many drinks, a recently retired man checking off another item on his golden years bucket list. All have come to the event today with full hearts and empty stomachs, ready to see who the year's victor will be. The announcer riles up the crowd, encouraging them to cheer as loudly as possible to spur on their chosen competitor. All the while, staff are carrying out trays piled high with hot dogs. More hot dogs than most people see in a year.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Really love hot dogs. Each contestant receives a tray of hot dogs, a bucket of water, and an additional empty bucket, just in case.
Kind of a side note, I always wondered, like, if you sign up for a food eating competition, do you have to pay for the food? Because I feel like that would be a pretty good way to get a lot of free food if you wanted to. Just saying.
Well, you get the idea. With the supplies and competitors all in place, it is time to begin the countdown. The announcer holds up his favorite air horn and calls out,
3, 2, 1, eat!
At the sound of the air horn's blast, the men leap into action, seizing hot dogs from plates and each engaging in their unique competitive eating technique. The previous year's champion employs the method of famous hot dog eating champion Joey Chestnut.
That's who I was
dunking
talking
his entire
about.
Hot dog sloppily
Yeah,
into
he
his
makes it
water
like really
and
mushy.
swallowing it as quickly as
Kind of
possible.
gross.
The new challenger, on the other hand, employs the Solomon method, named for King Solomon. Much like the fabled king suggested doing with a stolen infant, eaters using the Solomon method break the focus of their feasting in half before polishing it off. One of the more casual competitors attempts a divide and conquer technique.
Interesting.
First the dog
Oh,
itself,
ew, I didn't
and
like
then
that.
the
That was
bun.
weird.
Others employ no specific technique at all, attempting to devour the stack of hot dogs before them, using the same classic eating style they might employ at a family barbecue.
He's just chomping
This
down.
is a grave mistake. One by one, the less prepared competitors drop out,
He looks
spitting
so-
into their buckets,
so
wiping meat sweats from their
tired.
foreheads, waddling out of the arena while groaning and holding their
They're
aching
all going to be in
stomachs.
food comas.
Soon, only the two front-runners remain. But what's this? A challenger approaches. An unassuming black man, clad in a shirt and dress pants, rushes into the
It's
arena,
Mr.
his face
Hungry.
a mask of single-minded determination, and begins seizing the discarded hot dogs off the table, gobbling them up as fast as he can. The announcer and the rest of the audience watch in stunned disbelief. This is unprecedented, and as exciting as it is, definitely against the rules. This man is not a registered competitor, and he certainly can't join the contest in the champion stretch. Unsure of what else to do, the announcer beckons to the staff on the sidelines, ushering them back toward the table to clear
Oh
the
no,
food
they're going to
and
try to get
escort
rid
the
of him.
surprise drop-in out of the arena. The audience watches with rapt attention as the staff members attempt to remove the stranger from
Oh
his place at the
no,
table.
dudes. This
He
is how
shakes his head
chaos
violently,
happens.
refusing
Look at his teeth, too. His teeth look almost like they're carnivore teeth. Like they're a little sharper than usual.
to go and snatches the hot dogs away from them, even as they try to clear the trays away. All the while, the remaining competitors standing are attempting to stay the course and finish strong in spite of the interruption. The new, younger man collapses, slumping down onto the table in a hot dog-induced stupor. He has tapped out. The victor is the previous year's champion, with a staggering ultimate tally of 38 hot dogs.
38,
As
dude.
4 staff members work together
I
to
don't even
wrestle
think
the
I could eat
stranger out of
10.
the arena, the champion steps forward to receive his trophy. The crowd roars as he holds up his arms, grinning ear to ear and basking in yet another win. The announcer can still see the staff struggling with the stranger out of the corner of his eye, but this crowd wants to see their champion crowned, and the show must go on.
I wonder if something like this has ever happened before, where during like a professional eating competition, has a random stranger come up and like just tried to join the competition out of nowhere, and they're like just chowing down on hot dogs, and then they have to get security to come escort them out because clearly they're getting a bunch of free food, which is illegal. You must pay for the food, I think anyway.
So he grabs the Hot Dog King sash, the crown made from gold, well, gold-plated, hot dogs, and even the massive gold trophy. He crowns the winner, placing the sash over his shoulders. Then, as the music swells triumphantly, courtesy of the local high school marching band, the announcer holds up the trophy,
Wow.
sunlight glinting off its shiny
It's
surface.
gorgeous.
It represents so many things: achievement, celebration, the ability to eat just so much meat and not get sick, and now it is time for it to be awarded to the man who earned it.
He did
the
it.
announcer stretches his arms, handing over the
What a
trophy to the
beast.
contest winner, when all of a sudden, another hand grabs hold
is he
of his
going to
handle,
eat the
ripping it from
trophy?
the announcer's grasp. The stranger has returned, somehow freeing himself from the multiple security guards.
Yeah,
who
because he
escorted him
ate
away.
them
He has
alive.
taken the trophy for himself.
Somebody should go check on
But
them.
he isn't just attempting to crown himself the hot dog king. No, this is not a simple coup de hot dog. He lifts the trophy up over his head, opening his mouth as wide as it will go, and tears the metal in half with a horrible screeching sound, shoving the pieces into.
As soon as you see that, especially when you see his like mangled teeth, which probably happened because he's done this a bunch, where he's probably been eating everything in sight, including metal, which will destroy your teeth. So as soon as you see something like this, like you should probably, you know, call the cops, maybe call the military, call the president, maybe call in NASA. I don't even know what you do because this guy's clearly not human. He's an alien.
To his mouth, chewing and swallowing. By the time the announcer and the champion recover from their shock enough to move again, the trophy is completely gone, vanished into the stranger's belly.
That's gross.
After a day of seemingly impossible feats of feasting, the sight of this strange man consuming a truly impossible meal of metal is just too much for the already anxious crowd to take. The arena erupts into absolute chaos as people spill out of their seats en masse, fleeing the area. The champion, however, does not turn and run. He feels robbed of his victory.
Oh my gosh,
Though
he's
it
gonna
may
try
have
to fight
occurred in an utterly bizarre fashion.
No,
he won't
dude.
stand for this kind of disrespect.
Why in a million years would you go up to somebody as crazy as the dude that just ate your trophy in like 3 bites? He's clearly psychotic, right? Like, you should probably steer clear of people like that. Just, you know, I don't want to tell you what to do and how to live your life, but you should definitely not approach people that eat metal trophies. That is something that I will live my life by from this day forward.
He has trained all year for this moment, only to watch his trophy be eaten right in front of him.
There's always more
He
trophies.
marches right up to the stranger and pokes him in the chest, demanding to know who he thinks he is. What gives him the right to crash the hot dog eating contest, interrupt the proceedings, and upstage his victory by chowing down on the trophy? The man doesn't answer him, so the champion continues to berate him,
stop.
wagging his
Get your
in
finger
his
away
face.
from his mouth.
The stranger's eyes
No,
follow the
dude,
finger,
what are you
and slowly
thinking?
he opens his mouth. There is a sudden shock,
no,
and the
no, it's
champion
just tomatoes.
screams,
It's
holding
just
his hand
ketchup,
to his
right?
chest, using his shirt
Oh,
to stem the bleeding.
no,
He turns to
no.
run with the rest of the crowd. It's too late. The stranger's hand clamps down on his shoulder, holding him in place with a surprising strength. The only thing he sees before his life is snuffed out is the stranger's wide open mouth before everything goes dark.
That's
with another
really
sickening
scary.
chomp.
It's like a
All
human
the while,
snake.
The crowd's terror rises to a fever pitch at the horrible sight. They trample each other as they scramble to vacate the area, shoving strangers and loved ones alike out of the way.
Dude.
In a bid to
This is a
escape
head
this
scratcher.
mysterious equal opportunity omnivore.
I don't even know
with
what
an
you do.
appetite for far more than just hot dogs. Some manage to escape, running far enough from the arena that they can stop to catch their breaths and glance back at the ones who were not so lucky. Those who tripped and fell in the madness, who had the wind knocked out of them by an elbow to the gut from one of their neighbors, those with weak ankles or who hadn't tied their shoes carefully enough. All of these poor, unfortunate souls are next on the menu for the stranger. He devours them one by one.
This is
rarely even
gross. I
stopping
don't
to
like
chew.
this.
As one surviving woman watching from a distance pulls out her phone to call 911,
Well,
she
yeah.
can't escape noticing the parallels to the contest itself. The way the stranger eats with a singular focus on consuming as much as possible.
That is a
There's no
human
pause
leg.
to enjoy the meal, but there is no sadism or malice in the act either. Just the sheer, undeniable drive to keep eating. The woman's call to the police is one of the strangest moments of her life and utterly baffles the local police department. Ma'am, please calm down. One officer repeats it.
I am a little bit worried too because earlier they mentioned that the SCP like had some weird superhuman strength. So even if they do like bring the police there, are they going to be able to stop him? That's something that I don't think so, especially because usually SCPs, like they're supernatural in the way that they behave. So if I had to guess, he's probably super strong. He probably is like practically invincible, and there's nothing that's going to stop him from eating everything and everyone in sight.
Again and again. What do you mean there's a man eating people? I mean exactly what I said, she shouts. A man showed up at the hot dog contest and started eating people. Please, you have to do something.
It sounds like a prank
I
call.
think this is above our pay grade, miss. Another officer chimes in. You think we should call, the first officer trails off. Who? The
SCP
woman demands,
Foundation.
but the line goes dead before she can ask another question. The police are clearly no help, and she isn't about to stick around and see just how big this stranger's appetite is. She tried to save the others, but now she needs to save herself. She
Yes,
runs all the way
get out of
home
there.
without another glance back. Meanwhile, the local police did make that mysterious call, and an SCP Foundation mobile task force is currently en route to the scene.
Oh, nice.
By the
Okay,
time
good.
They arrive, the park is a ghost town, with nothing but the blood-stained grass and abandoned arena to suggest that something horrible ever
Is the
happened here at
SCP
all.
gone?
But these aren't some bumbling local police officers who have no idea what to do with a man-eating anomaly. This team has seen enough bizarre sights to fill a lifetime, and another lifetime after that. They spy a trail of sticky red footprints leading away from the arena. At first, they assume that the substance is blood, but a closer examination reveals
Ketchup.
that it is, in fact, ketchup. They
Oh.
track the savory footprints
They
away from the
tasted
scene
it?
of the day's unsavory events, following them to a nearby warehouse. Judging from the scattered wooden beams, rustling metal, and boarded-up windows, this place has been abandoned for some time.
Interesting.
Perfect place for an anomaly to hide away.
That is the
They
home
weren't
of
certain.
Mr.
The
Hungry.
sound of someone inside biting through sheets of metal is plenty of
Ew.
indication that this is the right place. With no time to waste, they break down the door of the warehouse, weapons drawn and ready. They follow the sound of the chewing, splitting up to apprehend the subject from all available directions. The shriek of tearing metal echoes
Where
through
is
the building,
he?
bouncing off the walls and creating a cacophony that is difficult to track. They do their best to follow the sound, but quickly veer off in separate directions in an attempt to cover as much ground as possible. One operative confronts the stranger just as he is reaching
Oh,
for
there he
another
is.
piece of metal. He watches as the man takes
Oh!
a massive bite out of the steel, a bite that should have shattered his teeth and broken his jaw.
Oh, he just ripped apart steel, bro. I thought only jet fuel could melt steel beams, but apparently this guy's teeth, it's basically jet fuel. That is crazy.
Instead, a cartoonish bite mark is taken out of the metal. He approaches the stranger, who, upon locking eyes with him, begins to shake his head, still chewing. The MTF operative ignores this visual cue, approaching the man and attempting to physically restrain him. This, like the confrontation with the champion before, is cut off with a fateful
Oh,
chomp, and the
no.
operative
Why
screams
would you
ringing out
touch
through
him?
the warehouse.
I thought this SCP whole squadron, like they've seen anomalies before, and you would think that they probably know, don't get too close to an SCP because that could happen.
Alerting his teammates to his unfortunate fate. The screams suddenly go silent, and another MTF operative stops cold, listening as the sound of chewing draws nearer and nearer. He spins around to face the presence behind him and spots the stranger standing there. The otherwise ordinary man is polishing off the tip of a steel beam, grimacing as he swallows it.
That's
The
gross,
operative
dude.
lifts his weapon, pointing it at the subject. The operative tells him to stand down and come quietly. The hungry man pleads wide-eyed for the operative to turn and run while he still can.
Huh?
He takes small, reluctant steps toward the operative.
Okay, so it seems like the SCP himself is maybe just a normal guy, and he has the insatiable need to keep eating. Like, he can't stop himself.
Muttering that he can't stop.
Yeah.
The operative brandishes his weapon again, barking another order for the man to stop.
Is he gonna eat the bullets?
Before he can make another move, the stranger snatches the weapon out of his
okay.
hand, opens his mouth.
Are you kidding me? How, as an SCP, like SEAL Team 6, how, as a SCP soldier, are you gonna let an SCP get close enough to grab your gun? Like, these guys clearly aren't trained. My 95-year-old grandmother knows you just pull the trigger when some crazy dude is walking at you.
And swallows it. He winces as he does,
Ew.
but does not stop. until
Ew,
the weapon
it's
is
like a magic
completely
trick.
devoured. All at once, he lets out a loud belch. His knees buckle.
I wonder
and he
what his
slumps to
poops
the
are
ground.
like.
He rubs his stomach, wipes his brow, and sighs heavily. I'm so sorry about that. I was just so hungry I couldn't help it.
Oh.
The man shakes his head sadly. I hope you can get a new weapon. And I'm sorry about your friend, too.
Oh, wow.
You said you couldn't help it. Why'd you stop? The stranger shrugs, sighs again, and simply says, well, because I was full. After
Oh.
a bit of convincing,
So
and
he
a test
can
confirming that
be
the subject's
full.
strength and bite force has returned to ordinary human levels, the
What?
remaining mobile task force agreed to bring him into Foundation custody unharmed, though restrained. They pile into one of the SCP Foundation's trademark unmarked vans and set off toward the nearest Foundation site. About 1 hour into the trip, the subject begins to lament his growling stomach, asking
Oh,
if they can
no.
possibly stop somewhere for a bite to eat. Ordinarily, this is against protocol, but after what happened to their teammate, the task force members
Yeah.
aren't taking any chances.
You should probably
They
give
pull
him
into
all
a
the
fast
food that he
food
needs.
drive-thru and permit the subject to order whatever he wants. They'll declare it as a business expense later. 5 burgers, 5 fries, 5 tacos, 5
Wow.
pies, 5 cokes, 10 tater tots, 10 tenders,
What?
5 shakes, 5 pancakes, 5 jalapeno poppers, and
What?
5 baked potatoes later. The task force
That's like what my brain wants to order every time that I'm hungry, but obviously no human could eat that much food.
successfully reached the Foundation site with their newest subject, SCP-913. SCP-913 appears to be an average African-American man around middle age. Though his appearance is completely ordinary, his metabolism is unnaturally fast. He requires the recommended daily caloric
What?
intake for an average human being every 2 hours and has an unusually high internal temperature, though the specific number has been redacted from his official file. If he does
Interesting.
not meet his calorie requirement for a given 2-hour period, he will enter a trance state in which he is unable to control himself.
Yeah, okay.
In this state, he will break down and ingest any solid matter in his line of sight.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Shy Guy. How Shy Guy is kind of just like a normal dude, at least that has like superhuman strength and looks kind of weird, and is just really shy. And if you look at Shy Guy, he literally can't help it, and he will come and he'll kill you. And it kind of seems like this guy's in like the same boat where he doesn't want to do it, but he kind of has to do it in order for him to satiate like the hunger that he has. He has to eat stuff until he's full again.
This includes matter that would ordinarily be indigestible, including wood, plastic, and metal.
That's
In this state,
disgusting.
his appetite does not distinguish between living and non-living subjects. When he is in this hunger-driven state, he is aware of all his actions, but cannot stop himself, even when he eats dense materials
Oh.
that cause him extreme discomfort. If this state hits while the subject is sleeping, he will be forced awake. In addition to his anomalous appetite, SCP-913 can rend objects at an estimated force of 3,000
What?
newtons and can bite objects with an estimated force of 5,000 newtons when eating them.
Goodness.
Whenever he is not in his trance state, he cannot replicate this strength. An examination of SCP-913's liver tissue showed that it is capable of producing new enzymes in response to foreign material, allowing his body to digest matter that should be
Wow.
highly dangerous to consume.
So
These
he has
enzymes
metal
metabolize
poops.
the substrate at an efficiency of approximately 98%, detoxifying any drugs or toxins consumed by the subject during the hunger state or otherwise. This includes, but is not limited to, amnestics and anesthetics.
Interesting.
When
So he
SCP-9
can't be poisoned, he can't be drugged. His body will just, just get out all of the toxins.
13 was first discovered, he was wearing a shirt and dress pants, both with the brand name Doctor's Orders sewn onto their tags.
Huh.
SCP-913 has no tattoos aside from one on his right calf, which
Mr.
reads
Hungry.
Mr. Hungry from Little Misters by Dr. Wonderainment.
Okay, so this guy was clearly experimented on, and he was created by whoever Dr. Wonderainment is.
Just in case you aren't aware, the Little Misters are a line of humanoid anomalies created by the mysterious Dr. Wonderainment Corporation, including the
Interesting.
fish-headed Mr. Fish, candy-coated Ms. Sweetie, and Mr. Life and Mr. Death.
I've
who
never
is
heard of
every bit
these.
as existentially upsetting as he sounds. The purpose of these creations is currently unknown, though, like many Dr. Wonderainment products, their existence invites endless speculation. SCP-913 must be contained in a customized humanoid containment cell lined with 1-meter thick carbon steel. 913 is to be provided standard furnishings for his containment cell, coinciding with the usual necessities for a comfortable humanoid dwelling. He may be given pre-recorded entertainment materials, such as
Okay.
concerts, films,
Well, that's
and television
nice.
shows upon request.
Even though he's in prison, he has some luxuries like music, television, cell phones, and probably unlimited food. So, kind of sounds pretty nice.
The cell may be accessed via a reinforced carbon steel door. Once every 2 hours, SCP-913 is provided with one nutritional supplement as specified in Document 913-2. I attempted to locate a copy of 913-2 for further details on said nutritional supplement, but access to it appears to be limited to researchers assigned to SCP-913.
Really? Interesting.
While
So we
the
don't know
subject
what
is
he
sleeping,
eats.
Nutrition is provided to SCP-913 via a central venous catheter that must be changed once every 3 months. These measures allow SCP-913 to receive the calories that he needs to avoid entering a hunger state, ensuring the safety of everyone on site, as well as his own comfort. Like the rest of the Little Misters, SCP-913 presents a puzzle that may never be solved. I could spend my limited time on this Earth wondering why Dr. Wonderainment would create a being that seems to serve no purpose other than eating as much
Yeah,
as
that's
possible,
so random.
lest he unwillingly destroy the environment around him.
He's like an X-Men with a really stupid superpower.
but I believe that would be a waste of time. Why does Dr. Wondertainment do anything that they do? Why create a woman who can turn men into candy soldiers? Why create an ordinary man with a fish head, a tiny top hat, and a Boston accent?
That one's
The
so
personal
funny.
motivations of Dr. Wondertainment, whether they are an individual or a massive conglomerate, are as inscrutable to me as the meaning of life itself, or the reasons why a person would want to eat more than 2 hot dogs in one sitting.
SCP-682 must be destroyed as soon as possible.
Okay, so they already want to get rid of it.
the SCP Foundation file on the dreaded SCP-682.
It looks terrifying. Look at that. It looks like a giant crocodile, but it's like it's like furry. It actually has like a spine bone sticking out of it. Its ribs are exposed. So its nickname is the hard to destroy reptile. Obviously, it looks like a reptile, but supposedly this thing is practically impossible to get rid of.
Begins the SCP Foundation file on the dreaded SCP-682, a highly intelligent reptilian monster that has, despite the Foundation's best efforts, proved impossible to kill.
They're
It
just
may not be
pointing
the
a
most
bunch of guns
dangerous
at it.
SCP
What's
out
that
there,
gonna do?
Considering that some are capable of eliminating entire realities.
Wait,
but it's
what?
one of the most iconic. And you've probably heard tales of the monster that death forgot, and you know exactly why everyone is so afraid of the so-called hard-to-kill reptile. It's been
So this SCP is, in the SCP universe, one of the most dangerous SCPs, since there isn't really a way to get rid of it. Yeah, if I was a
been
D-class
subjected to
personnel,
some of
I
the
would
most
not
deadly
want to
weapons
go
and
near
traps
this
the
thing.
Foundation could devise.
They got
and survived
lasers?
attacks from some of its
The
deadliest
statue?
fellow SCPs.
They-
But before
oh,
we
they
tell
can't
you
even
about
touch
the
it.
Foundation's many failed assassination attempts against the so-called hard-to-kill reptile,
I wonder if Shy Guy
we
could
need
beat
a
it up.
little more groundwork on what this creature even is. The first thing to know about SCP-682 is that this thing wants you and everything you know dead.
All right, well, that's enough for today. I don't want to learn about this thing anymore. It wants me dead. And you can't even destroy the thing, so how am I supposed to fight back if I ever encounter it? I know it's not real,
Unlike
but in
some
my
other
nightmares,
creatures like
I don't know that it's not real.
SCP-096 and
It's gonna pop up there, I know for sure.
SCP-173, which are murderous but
Murderous.
exhibit no real higher processing skills.
All right, so they're just murdering monsters.
SCP-682 possesses cunning,
Awesome.
advanced reasoning, and even human-level logical intelligence.
That's creepy.
SCP-682 can engage you in conversation, but just talking to the
What?
creature calmly and cordially will sometimes cause it to enter its rage state.
What?
Where it becomes even more dangerous and
So you're saying I could be sipping a coffee, having a casual conversation with SCP-682, and that would cause it to get angry, even though it's talking back to me. We could be talking about the weather. I'm like, hey, you know, what a great, fantastic day we're having today. And it gets so mad that it just kills me. I don't like
beast
this
is
thing.
perpetually kept in a tank of powerful hydrochloric acid, melting its tissue to prevent it from reaching its full
So,
potential and
wait a
going
second, so
on a rampage.
how do
the
you kill
creature's
this
most
thing?
terrifying asset, and the reason it's proven impossible to terminate thus far, is its incredible adaptability to any and all external
It just gained
stimuli.
armor. It just turned into
682
steel.
is a
It's
reactive
like Wolverine.
being, capable of not only surviving and regenerating from all attacks, but often incorporating those attacks into its own
Yo,
wide
this
arsenal.
thing should be in
other words,
X-Men
if
Academy.
you're hoping to kill this thing, you better kill it on the first hit. Because
How are you gonna kill it though?
You better believe it's gonna.
By
hit
the
you
end of the
back
day, I hope we
100
learn how we
times
kill this
harder.
thing, so I know how to get rid
This
of it.
brings us to the main event. Some of the SCP Foundation's most ambitious and frightening attempts to terminate SCP-682, or even understand how it could theoretically be terminated. There are quite literally too many unsuccessful attempts for us to list them all here, so think
Okay.
of this as a highlight reel of the Foundation's most prominent failures.
So they don't even know of a way to kill this thing, or at least that's what they're saying, is like they have a ton of epic fails of different ways that they've tried to kill this thing. They've probably tried lasers, they've tried guns, they've tried bombs. Have they tried a nuclear bomb? Because that could be pretty effective.
682 was first cross-tested with SCP-017, a humanoid shadow entity shown to be able to consume matter with its shadows and leave no traces behind.
all right, so it's like a black
Tests
hole
on
shadow.
tissue samples from 682 showed that SCP-017 was able to consume said tissues with no adverse effects.
Okay, so can it
However,
just eat?
when
the
SCP-017
reptile?
was placed into the containment chamber with the actual creature,
Okay.
682 let out a horrific roar that was so loud it damaged nearby audio equipment. SCP-017 fled to the corner of the room, and 682, in its rage state, attempted to breach containment.
Oh my gosh,
Agents
it got
managed
so
to
mad
suppress
that
and
it
remove the
almost
creature,
killed a
but
shadow.
No meaningful damage was logged. Attempt failed.
Yeah, attempt failed
SCP-173,
horribly.
The killer statue was later brought in, hoping that its thus far impeccable track record for killing would hold strong. The second that 173 was introduced into the testing area,
What
682
happens?
retreated to the far wall and began screeching intensely. It was
Okay.
intelligent enough to know what it was dealing with here. While the researchers
It
and
did?
guards expected an instantaneous reaction, there was actually a stalemate for over 6 hours.
6 hours. So for those of you guys that don't know about the statue SCP, as long as you look at it, then it won't attack. It's kind of like a weeping angel in that way. So I guess the SCP, the hard to destroy reptile, just stared at the statue and nothing happened. He has 999
682 stared at
IQ.
173 continuously. Eventually, the tie was broken when agents shot out 682's eyes with high-caliber sniper
Oh,
rifles,
snap.
breaking the line of sight and causing 173 to attack.
Holy
Though
smokes!
682 sustained damage to several parts of its body. While its eyes regenerated, the creature was not killed. It then regenerated a number of eyes all over its body, covered in a
What?
clear armored carapace that made them resistant to bullets.
Oh my god. Okay, so this thing is highly adaptable. They said that earlier, but this just takes it to the next level. It just has eyeballs all over its body now so that it can stare at the statue SCP and then it can no longer be attacked by it.
The stalemate continued for an additional 12 hours as 682 maintained perpetual eye contact. 173 was eventually removed from the containment unit, and the mission was aborted. Attempt failed. In their
Attempt failed, for
desperation,
sure.
The SCP Foundation restored to bringing in another dangerous and seemingly unkillable monster to take on 682. SCP-096.
Yes,
also
my
known
boy!
as the Shy Guy.
Shy
As
Guy, he's
astute
dangerous.
SCP fans will already know, this being kills anything that sees its face.
Yeah.
With no known exceptions. And when it enters its attack mode, it's thought to be quite literally unstoppable.
This thing, one time, somebody looked at it, went deep into a submarine in the ocean, and somehow Shy Guy SCP broke out of its containment zone and it traveled all the way into the ocean just to kill the person that looked at it. That is the ultimate level of shyness.
And when it enters its attack mode, it's thought to be quite literally unstoppable. Or at least, it was. While SCP-096
Okay.
was able to destroy 85% of 682's original body mass during their 27-hour battle,
27 hours?
it was left mentally broken,
No
wounded,
way.
and huddled in the corner. To this day, if ever confronted with SCP-682, the Shy Guy reacts in pure terror, turning away and clawing at its own face.
That's the only time that Shy Guy has been beat. SCP-682 is built different.
Turning away and clawing at its own face.
That's crazy.
Attempt failed.
I honestly thought the
During a
Shy Guy
deadly
would stand a better
containment
chance.
breach, SCP-682 also went head-to-head organically with another iconic SCP Hall of Famer, SCP-106, also known as the Old Man.
Oh, the Old
and a
Man's crazy
shape-shifting
powerful.
psionic anomaly known as SCP-953 broke into 682's containment cell. The Old Man pulled both of his fellow anomalous combatants into his pocket dimension to continue the battle on his terms. However, despite losing 67% of his body mass during the ensuing pocket dimension showdown, 682 still prevailed.
How is that possible? So the other SCPs, they're doing tons of damage to the hard to destroy reptile, but none of them have been able to 100% destroy it. So far, Shy Guy got the closest. He did 85% damage, but you know, it ended up being a stalemate, so nobody technically won or lost there.
Body mass during the ensuing pocket dimension showdown, 682 still prevailed, with the Old Man eventually fleeing back to his cell.
They just
953
ran away?
being collected and taken away by agents.
No
Once
way.
again, SCP-682 continued to hold the title.
I can't
But
believe it. So
wasn't just
what can beat this
cross-testing
thing?
experiments, intentional or otherwise. The SCP Foundation's quest to kill 682 led them to a number of more conventional murder methods, all with
Nuclear
varying
bombs,
degrees
nuclear
of
bombs,
success.
nuclear bombs.
Due to SCP-682's highly adaptive abilities, some methods were discounted from the outset.
Like what?
For example, launching
Oh.
a powerful thermonuclear missile at the creature was soundly rejected by O5 Command.
Crap.
On the premise that if the
Why
creature
not?
wasn't destroyed and evolved to the point where it could shrug off nukes,
Oh,
humanity
true.
would be pretty much done for.
Yeah,
Other
that would
ideas were
basically be
abandoned just for being
Godzilla.
too ridiculous, such as one researcher's suggestion to fly the creature through the air and drop it from a considerable height, hoping to kill it with a high-altitude impact.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think
not
that
sure
it would
we
die.
even need to tell you why that's a terrible idea, but during the experiments on SCP-682, the studies range from honest to incompetent to straight-up evil.
Like what?
One guest researcher fed 2 small innocent children to the creature just to see
Yo!
what would happen. He
Why?
was then himself
What do you think is going to happen, my guy? This man he just let 2 children go into a containment center with the strongest, most dangerous SCP creature.
Just to see what would
The
happen.
man should go
He
to
was then
jail.
himself fed to the creature for his sadistic behavior,
Yeah, that's okay.
which was
Good.
viewed
That's
as
worse
getting in
than
the
jail.
way of his professional conduct. After all, the Foundation is meant to be cold, not cruel. It was SCP-682 that had the monopoly on cruelty. Memetic kill agents were a resounding failure. They attempted to dismember 682 with a powerful laser, only to have the
it's
creature
not gonna
develop
work.
reflective surfaces that displaced the beam and caused
Nothing can kill
catastrophic
it.
damage to the area around it.
Nothing at
They
all.
attempted to kill the creature by sucking all the air out of its containment facility and
It just
create a
adapted,
vacuum,
didn't it?
But it expelled a dangerous gaseous compound that reacted violently and exploded
way.
when air was once again introduced into the
Holy
room.
smokes.
The Foundation used high-precision blades to slice SCP-682 into approximately 12,000 pieces. Then
Wait, so they're actually able to chop it up. Like, they can do damage to this thing, but it either regenerates, it adapts, or it just eventually just, turns into something that it wasn't before and just becomes way too powerful.
approximately 12,000 pieces.
Right
and
now, yeah,
separated
it's
these
literally,
pieces.
it's separated.
Unsurprisingly, by this point, this attempt also failed.
Did it multiply?
The 12,000 pieces reformed a short while later into
No
the fully
way.
operational killing machine we
No
all know and
way.
fear. In one particularly frightening display of intelligence and adaptability, the Foundation attempted to kill 682 with extreme heat, but it shielded itself by developing a second carapace composed of solid helium. When personnel entered the room
okay.
following the failed attempt on the creature's life, it shattered its helium carapace into deadly shards that fired around the room and shredded all Foundation personnel in attendance.
What?
It had set a trap, and that trap had been wildly successful. The creature's ability
I
to
can't
adapt to
believe this
seemingly
thing.
any offense is unparalleled.
I've never seen an SCP like this before, and that's why this is the strongest SCP, at least that I've seen.
To the point where Foundation staff have no idea how to classify this creature, whether it's organic, inorganic, or even alive at all based on any definitions we could understand. At every turn, the creature just raised more questions. What is it? Is it possible
know.
to destroy it at all by any
No.
means?
No.
Who is
The
even
answer is
trying
no.
to kill who here? Because
I
it
think they're
certainly
trying to
seemed
kill
like
it.
SCP-682 had a masterful KD ratio by now.
Yeah,
More
he's got
extreme
a
feats of
nuke
cross-testing
at this
continued
point.
in the Foundation's growing desperation to
He's
eliminate
got kill
this
streaks on top
monster.
of kill streaks.
SCP-162, which is a hypnotic ball of sharp objects, hooks, and high-tension fishing line, was introduced to 682's containment cell. The hooks latched onto the creature and
Ew.
tore huge
Oh, that's-
portions off,
that looks
including
horrible.
its entire lower jaw and one of its limbs. However, 682 was still able to breach containment, kill 11 people, and badly wound 86 others.
They should stop messing with this thing. Every time they try to do an experiment on it, somebody ends up dead. So like they should just leave it in its pool of acid that they normally put it in just to keep it at bay, and then just leave it. Just stop messing with it. Just secure, contain, and protect it. Do not do any more tests on this thing.
And badly wound 86 others. It regenerated its severe injuries in no time. The beast was even taken to the domain of the Gate Guardian, one of the proposals for SCP-001. The Guardian had a flaming sword hotter than the sun, capable
Okay.
of destroying its targets on an atomic level.
Okay, kill it.
Naturally, SCP-682 survived and regenerated.
Bro, how
Perhaps
does
the
it
most
keep
fascinating
living?
cross test of all was between 682 and SCP-053, who manifests as a kind, innocent little girl with the unfortunate condition of causing homicidal tendencies in all who come into contact with her for more than 10 minutes.
Yo, she's crazy. She causes people to literally go crazily insane to the point where they just want to kill people.
All who come into contact with her
But
for
I know
more
that
than 10
this
minutes.
SCP is also practically
People
invincible
with
too.
these tendencies would then attempt to harm the girl, but would immediately drop dead shortly after, leaving the girl intact.
Okay,
The
so let's
researchers
see what
present
happens here.
anticipated two possible outcomes here. The optimistic outcome, in which 682 enters a rage state, attacks 053, and died for good. And the
I don't think
realistic
that's going to
outcome,
happen.
in which 682 attacks 053, possibly experiencing some minor injury or nothing at all, and 053 had to be removed from the containment cell.
Or they probably
But
just
that
don't even
didn't
attack
happen.
it.
What
right?
did occur was considerably more shocking than any kind of violence. When
Did they team up
053
together?
entered 682's containment
Did she,
chamber,
like, ride
the
on its
monster
back like a
became
horse?
uncharacteristically docile.
Oh,
Researchers and staff were baffled and watched with amazement as 053 approached the terrifying, immortal, mass-murdering monster and began to play with it. 682 even allowed
What?
053 to draw on its face with crayons.
Yo, they teamed up together to create the SCP Wombo combo.
To play with it. 682 even allowed 053 to draw on its face with crayons, Researchers thought they must have been dreaming, seeing this surreal display play out. 053 even appeared to have affection for this unkillable misanthrope. It was a single act in defiance of everything they thought they knew. When Foundation personnel entered the containment cell to separate the two, 682 went ballistic and killed multiple guards.
Why did they should have just left them alone. They should trap them together. They can both play with each other. You know, the little girl can draw on the hard to destroy reptile, and they could just be left alone for all of eternity. Why would you try to break them up when it looked like they were having fun together?
682 went ballistic.
That's
and
like
killed
taking an
multiple
iPad away
guards.
from a 6-year-old child.
053 also wept.
They go
sad at
ballistic.
being separated from her new friend. To this day, despite further testing, the Foundation has no idea how or why this happened. Like many details surrounding SCP-682, it's shrouded in deeply frustrating mystery. And so the tale of SCP-682 continues, in spite of the Foundation's best efforts. The monster continues to breach containment and slaughter with some regularity,
That's
taking out
terrible.
its seemingly limitless hatred for not only human beings, but anything that dares draw breath.
Not the dog!
Nobody knows where exactly the creature is from,
Good. It's a good thing they cut away because that dog looked like it was in danger.
what its true nature is, or why its ability to adapt and regenerate far exceeds any known organism on this planet. Perhaps one day, through enough research and cross-testing, we can someday answer these questions with scientific precision. But until then, we only have one answer. Hatred never dies.
This is gonna get weird.
Dust high into the air behind it. The driver is sharply dressed and looks at himself in the rear-view mirror.
Oh yeah,
Giving
he's
his
looking
sunglasses a slight adjustment.
good.
He knows he looks as
Yeah,
good
look
as
at
he
that. He's got a
feels.
little catfish,
Why shouldn't the
little
producer of
mustache going
Hollywood's
on.
ninth most successful film in the month of September be happy? The car comes to a sudden stop in front of a cluster of buildings, which
Why?
appear to be the only structures in this vast, otherwise empty desert. The producer hops out of the car and surveys the desolate location. The cracked concrete airstrip, the weather-beaten buildings, the endless, lonely desert stretching on for miles in every direction. This place is great, the producer says out loud to no one in particular. The whole location would be perfect for his new movie, which is set entirely at a desert airstrip and tells the story of a lonely airplane mechanic who falls in love with a female bounty hunter chasing an escaped convict, a tale as old as time. But now, where's the guy who called him? He kept rambling about wanting to make a documentary about the desert or something, but that doesn't matter now. He doesn't realize what a great filming location he's sitting on. The producer calls out, "Hello?" But the only response is the desert breeze. He takes off his sunglasses and looks around. He sees that the doors to the hangar are cracked. Maybe the guy who owns this place is in there.
Okay, guys, right off the bat, this doesn't seem like a super scary situation. You have this movie producer who is, scouting a brand new location for his movie about a plane engineer and the lady that runs away with probably all of his life's earnings. But it seems very, very, not super scary. It looks like just, an abandoned warehouse in the middle of the desert. Kind of like an Area 51, There's nothing creepy happening over at Area 51, so it's not like anything creepy would be happening here. The only weird part is that he's meant to meet somebody, except the person isn't there. Which, that by itself isn't super scary yet, until something happens, which we all probably know because we read the title and we looked at the thumbnail. This is no ordinary building. This is a building that eats people alive.
The producer walks inside the hangar, but abruptly stops. His mouth goes agape. He can't believe what he's seeing.
What is it?
This place is even better than the guy on the phone had described it. The hangar is huge.
That was good.
Empty. He could probably build almost all the sets in the hangar, maybe even shoot the entire picture out here. He'd save a fortune on the budget by not having to pay the soundstage rates that the studios charge on the movie lots in LA. You beautiful genius, he thinks to himself. The movie could flop and still be a financial success. But where's the guy who called him? Doesn't he know who he is? He's a very important producer and doesn't have time to wait around for some desert nobody who runs a 2-bit airport.
Okay, as much as I don't want to see anybody die, I kind of want to see this guy die. This guy sounds like he loves himself. His ego is like over 9,000. And yeah, he literally, he's probably not a bad guy, but he doesn't seem like the best guy in the world either. So if an SCP, if it's going to eat somebody, I would be okay if it's this guy right here. But then again, I don't want to see anybody die. But if he died, I'd be okay with it.
All right, that's it. He's leaving. The producer turns to leave, but the doors of the hangar suddenly slide shut with a bang. Is this some kind of joke? He walks up to the hangar doors and starts banging on them, but they don't move. Hello? Hey, I'm trapped in here. What's the big deal? Still no response.
He's
What is
gonna
going on in
die.
this place? The producer is getting
He looks
worried.
so scared.
Is this some kind of a setup? Is he about to get robbed? It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if they took his car. He's 9 payments behind on it anyway.
Oh,
Jeez,
gosh.
is it hot in here. It was hot outside, but it's even worse in this hangar. And whoever said that the desert air was dry? An idiot, that's who. The humidity in here is stifling. The producer loosens his collar and tugs at it, trying to cool off. All right, I've had just about enough. If you don't...
Okay, guys, so I like to theorize about what I think this SCP is. Obviously, we kind of have a good idea because of the title. It's a man-eating building. We've seen other SCPs like this. Like, I think SCP-002, or maybe even 001, is like the living room, where if you go inside this, like, giant meatball-shaped meat thing that is basically like a living room, you will eventually be devoured and then turn into, like, a piece of living room furniture, like the sofa or the TV. This one seems a little bit more intense, like it is in the middle of nowhere, and obviously deserts are super dry, like they just said, but the inside of this is really humid, which leads me to believe that obviously this is the SCP, and it's like basically inside of its mouth right now, which is going to be really humid, it's going to be wet, and this guy is slowly probably going to pass out, and then I don't really know what happens after that. Maybe he just gets digested by this SCP, or maybe something even more cynical happens. Let's find out.
Don't let me out of here. There's going to be a big problem for you, fella. Just then, the producer hears a noise behind him, coming from the dark deeper in the hangar.
Is there like a giant
The producer
tongue?
doesn't react, though. He needs to play it cool. He bends down and pretends to tie his shoe.
Why?
He takes the Derringer pistol out of his ankle holster.
Wait, what?
He stands up and spins around, pointing the gun in front of him. But he can't see anyone in the darkness.
Okay, that's creepy.
This is your last chance. I'm not playing around here. The strange noise comes again, a low rumbling noise, and the producer stumbles forward.
The SCP probably burped or
It felt like
farted.
the floor rippled and pushed him forward. There, it happened again.
What?
And
What
again,
even is
the
it?
producer screams. What's going on? The rumbling, growling noise grows louder as the floor keeps rippling and pushing him forward, like a wave rolling through the solid ground. Is this an earthquake? The producer is knocked off his feet, and still the floor keeps pushing him forward, towards where that horrible growling noise is coming from.
Oh, dude,
He
it's
tries
pushing
to
him
stand,
towards the
but
throat.
can't. The floor is moving too
Oh
much.
my gosh!
He tries to crawl, but keeps getting moved closer and closer to the source of the now deafening roar.
That's
that seems to be
scary.
coming from... What is that? The producer screams and fires his gun at the thing in front of him.
What is it?
In the flashes of the gunfire, he can finally see it. The thing that he's being pushed into.
Oh!
A giant, gaping maw.
Oh!
Filled with a mass of gnashing, grinding teeth.
Oh my
How unlucky for this movie
gosh!
producer that he didn't realize until it was too late that the location for his new movie would be the last one that he'd ever scout. Because as you have probably already figured out,
Well, yeah.
this unknown building in the middle of the desert isn't at all what it appears to be.
Nope.
And in fact, is quite known to the SCP Foundation as SCP-1051.
Guys, if you're a fan of the channel or just SCPs in general, you know that a lot of SCPs that we've been checking out recently are normal everyday objects. Like we've checked out other SCPs. One of them was a bus that wasn't really a bus, or another one was headlights that weren't actually headlights, obviously. They were like killer monsters, but it seems like a lot of SCPs are literally just like everyday objects that people make into these super scary extraterrestrial creatures. So if there's any other SCPs like that that you want me to react to, leave them in the comment section down below.
SCP-1051 isn't actually a building at all, but in fact,
Well, yeah.
is a living organism. This creature's shell, which resembles an aircraft hangar, is quite large and measures roughly 700 meters by 500
What is
meters
it
by
made
60
out
meters.
of?
It is a completely immobile organism and acts as an ambush predator, luring its prey to it through a number of different forms
So
of
it's
sociological
like
and
a
psychological manipulation.
Giant Venus flytrap,
SCP-1051
but it's a building.
attempts to bring prey to it in a number of ways, but its primary method is by spreading certain ideas into popular culture. It will constantly try to connect to orbiting
What?
satellites
I
and
can
use
do
them
that?
to beam out television signals, images, and
Huh?
other forms of media. It has been measured as having around a 25% success rate in connecting with and getting its message carried by the satellites.
So, okay, that is insane that an SCP has that capability, because that means that whoever the producer was trying to meet never existed. It was a fake person created by this SCP, and obviously the movie producer thought that it was safe because he was talking with somebody, or he was like emailing them, or whatever it may be. He thought that he was meeting a person, when in reality, it was the SCP that lured him there. That is insane.
And may have the ability to transmit regular radio broadcasts or connect to standard telephone lines as well.
It can
The
talk?
messages that SCP-1051 sends out tend to fall into the category that could be termed as conspiracy theories,
Okay.
most of which are about itself. It has uploaded information to various conspiracy websites that has included reports of spaceships being held and reverse engineered in its hangar.
Guys, I don't know if this is the case, but what if the SCP made this YouTube video? That would be really, really, really smart, but also weird because, I mean, like it's saying, like Dr. Bob just said, it can send out radio signals, it can upload images of itself. Like, this thing, I don't know what it's capable of, but imagine if it's behind this entire YouTube video. That is creepy. It's creepy to
Descriptions of
think.
so-called Men in Black using its location as a site for extraterrestrial contact. It has attempted to spread rumors that it is a site used as a testing location for any number of top-secret devices, including energy weapons, weather control devices, teleportation
okay.
machines, and impossible propulsion
So
systems.
everybody's gonna want to go there.
SCP-1051 has also attempted to spread through radio and television transmissions that it is a site used by a United States shadow government.
Huh.
It's made at least a handful of calls to Hollywood-based production companies in an attempt to get them to further spread its information, as well as contacting various tabloid newspapers.
What does it
Perhaps
even
most
sound
nefarious
like?
Of all, it has even sent orders to U.S. military intelligence operatives posing as a senior official and ordering them to reveal SCP-1051's location.
Okay, so obviously that is very creepy. But, you know, if it is doing all of these things, that means obviously that eventually the SCP Foundation is going to find it, which is probably how we're seeing this video. Yeah, this SCP, it's super smart, but it probably didn't realize that the SCP Foundation even existed, because if it did, it probably wouldn't want the SCP Foundation to find out about it. Because it's just going to get contained, and they probably have some sort of like procedure at this point so that nobody ever risks accidentally going to this location. Like, they probably have guards set up and stuff like that, because yeah, they're not going to want somebody going into this giant building that is secretly a mouth for a massive creature that eats people.
SCP-1051 appears desperate to make its location known to curious outsiders, all in an attempt to get them to come find it, so it can lure them inside of itself and feed.
Creepy.
And the anatomical structure of SCP-1051 is perfectly suited to this task. Its bizarre biological structure consists of a large tongue, which looks very similar
That's
to a
the
paved
tongue.
runway. The tongue leads directly into a set of large airplane hangar doors that could be called the organism's mouth.
Okay.
This door mouth opens up to what looks like a hangar, but is actually the gizzard-like organ of 1051,
Oh,
where it grinds
that's
its prey
so
into a fine
weird.
paste to prepare it for digestion.
Oh
The next
no.
building is the creature's stomach, where it breaks down the liquefied prey into nutrients and separates the waste products that it
Oh,
can't digest.
I think I'm gonna be
The
sick.
nutrients are transported to the area where SCP-1051's brain is thought to reside,
Does it poop it out?
while the waste is ejected out of the structure. Finally, there are what appears to be a set of antennae on
What?
the side of the building. These information distribution organs extend below the ground as well, where many more antennae and wires are thought to exist.
How did
and give
this thing
1051 the
create
ability
itself?
to send out multiple television, radio, and other signals.
There's an egg.
SCP-1051
No.
was discovered in 1947.
It can
when the
lay
egg-shaped
eggs?
structure was reported to have crash-landed in the desert of the American Southwest, near the town of
Oh.
Roswell, New Mexico. The United States Air Force took this strange egg into its possession and moved it to its current location in
So,
Nevada for
it's an
observation
alien.
and research. The Air Force scientists who were assigned to the object first thought that they were dealing with a meteorite, the one that was composed of some yet unknown material. They soon discovered that the object was hollow and was filled with some kind of liquid. Strangest of all, though, was when they detected something inside that liquid core, and it was moving. They
So
studied
at that point, you know, I'm sure they probably realized that it's an alien, right? It's a living alien egg, not just a meteor, and they should have maybe not destroyed it, but yeah, do a lot of research and, you know, most importantly, make sure that it's contained, which It kind of seems like they failed in doing that, considering this thing, built an entire structure for itself and then is actively eating people.
The object for years, until one day, something happened that would end their research for good. The egg hatched. One night, as Air Force Sergeant Burnson and 2 scientists, Dr. James and Dr. Gold, were going about their regular work analyzing the object, they heard a strange sound. When they looked at the object, they saw that a crack had begun to form on the outer shell. This cracking continued for about 5 minutes, until something finally broke through the shell.
What is going to come out of that?
Began to emerge from its shell, and the men all turned to run.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to say that these guys are like Weenie Hut Jr. idiots, but these guys are Weenie Hut Jr. idiots. What were they thinking? They literally know that there's something inside. It is an egg. Why did they not prepare for this? They should have had some sort of plan in place. If this thing were to hatch, I don't know, maybe like some sort of evacuation thing, maybe like a gas chamber that would put this thing to sleep. I don't know, but it seems like they had zero plan for when this thing hatched.
But something reached out with a long tentacle-like arm and grabbed Dr. James. It pulled the scientist in and seemed to absorb him right into its body.
Oh!
Sergeant Burnson and Dr. Gold managed to escape the airplane hangar and send out a distress signal. And it was this cry for help that described an attack by an alien creature that would put the object firmly on the SCP Foundation's radar. As Sergeant Burnson was sending out the distress signal, Dr. Gold tapped him on the shoulder and pointed towards the hangar where the egg-like object had been stored. The 2 men watched as the hangar bulged and expanded, like something was pressing against the walls from inside. The hangar suddenly collapsed, and they watched as the creature looked to writhe around in the debris. But then a new shell began to form around the alien. It grew larger, expanding and shifting until suddenly it took on nearly the exact form as the hangar that once stood there.
Wow.
SCP Foundation agents arrived at the site not long after and took control of the area. They discovered almost immediately that the building-shaped creature was anything but dormant. This extraterrestrial that had been born from an egg and then taken the form of an airplane hangar was ejecting its own eggs.
Oh, there's
the
more?
building would occasionally blast eggs up and into the sky.
How?
Several of these eggs were stopped and reclaimed by the Foundation, but others managed to slip past and escape the Earth's atmosphere.
Dude, it literally shot it so far, it farted it out at light speed, and the eggs are now all the way in outer space. That's insane.
Making them impossible to recover. The Foundation also soon detected that radio signals were being emitted by the hangar, and set up a small radio nearby which would allow them to both receive and send signals back to the creature that was now designated as SCP-1051. Dr. Richardson, the Foundation researcher on site who was leading the investigation into 1051, found the frequency that it was transmitting on and attempted to speak to the creature. After asking if 1051 could hear it, the creature actually responded.
Really?
And it seemed to have a very simple request. Give.
Give?
When Dr. Richardson asked it to elaborate,
What,
asking,
cookies?
Give what? 1051 responded,
People
"Want feed.
need food.
When the doctor told 1051 that it wouldn't be getting any food, the anomaly immediately sent out a new transmission, stating, Area 51 is currently being controlled by the SCP Foundation, a shadow government organization that has designated it SCP-1051.
Okay, that is super smart. So not only is this SCP taking over entire buildings, sending out signals, once it realized that the SCP Foundation wouldn't help feed it, it decided to like literally double cross the SCP Foundation and basically say that it's a secret government, there's conspiracies, the government is out to get you. And honestly, that's not a bad play, because then people are going to be like, wow, the government's really out to get me. And then they're going to go try to investigate it for themselves. And obviously they're going to get eaten alive and they're going to fall right into this SCP's trap.
Here are a few names of the operatives. Dr. Richardson cut SCP-1051 off and ordered a D-Class personnel to be sent inside the creature, hopefully appeasing it and stopping it from sending any more broadcasts out
They
about the highly
actually
secretive
sacrificed
organization.
somebody.
When asked why it was sending these signals, SCP-1051 responded that it was trying to make humans curious.
What?
It appeared that its hunting strategy was to flood the world with conspiracy theories.
And it
Conspiracy
worked?
theories about itself. This would then cause interested humans to come explore
Exactly.
the location. And once they entered the hangar, their curiosity would reward them with an encounter with the alien that they had been seeking. SCP-1051 also explained that the eggs that it was ejecting were its babies, and it seemed quite upset that the Foundation had intercepted some of them as they were on their orbital escape trajectory. But where had SCP-1051 come up with these conspiracy theories? Had it been studying our culture and the boom of science fiction in the 1940s to make up stories it thought would lead people to it? Foundation researcher Dr. Richardson had a hunch that there was something else going on. He next spoke to Dr. Gold, the other Air Force scientist who had been studying the egg-shaped meteorite. He asked him to describe SCP-1051's first victim, Dr. James. Dr. Gold told him that Dr.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm sure you guys are probably thinking the same thing, but this SCP might be able to absorb the knowledge of whichever victim that it eats. So it probably, you know, it ate one of the doctors originally and probably was able to access its brain. And as a, you know, super intelligent doctor, this guy knew a lot about conspiracies and sci-fi and all of these things that the SCP could then use in order to come up with these conspiracy theories.
Dr. James was obsessed with his job, and that spread into his personal life. He was a real sci-fi nut.
Yeah, there it
Dr.
is.
James apparently loved B-movies, especially ones about aliens and UFOs. He was convinced that the government had both in their possession already, and his research on the strange, egg-shaped meteorite only added to his confidence in that fact. Had SCP-1051 somehow absorbed this knowledge from its first meal here on Earth,
Knowledge.
and was now using it as a way to lure in new, inquisitive prey? Dr. Richardson thought it may go even deeper than that. When he played a recording of the first conversation he'd had with SCP-1051 for Dr. Gold, the one where 1051 told him it wanted him to bring food, Dr. Gold was left shocked.
Oh,
The
it's
voice he was
his
hearing
voice?
belonged to
Oh
Dr.
my
James.
gosh.
SCP-1051 remains in the Nevadan
What?
desert, and its area is patrolled at all times by no less than 20 Foundation personnel in uniforms that resemble those worn by members of the United States Air Force.
Okay, cool.
They are authorized to
Dude's
shoot at
Naruto
intruders,
running
not with the
wild.
intention to kill. Instead, only as a means to scare them away.
I got my next
Should any
YouTube video.
intruders come within 1 kilometer of SCP-1051, they are to be detained and administered Class A amnestics.
Okay, so this SCP is Area 51. That's it. Okay, that's actually kind of cool.
Since SCP-1051's primary danger stems from its ability to spread false information, the SCP Foundation's main containment efforts have been focused on stopping its broadcasts. Agents are to respond to any civilian rumors or questions about SCP-1051 with denial and ridicule.
Well, that just makes
To make
people
it
more
clear that
curious.
These are nothing but stories, and that the person is stupid for believing them. Should they exhibit any knowledge beyond the normal myths
Knowledge.
and rumors, the application of Class A amnestics is also permitted.
Oh,
Any
okay.
satellites orbiting near 1051's location are to be monitored for interference to their transmissions, and if any antenna with an unknown purpose are discovered within a 10-kilometer area of the building, they are to be destroyed or surrounded by a Faraday cage.
This SCP is a pain in the butt.
SCP-1051 may not be able to move, but its ability to reproduce and the difficulty that the Foundation still faces in stopping its spread of disinformation has led to it being classified as Euclid, and research into its origins and biology are ongoing.
The man and woman's hike through a gently rolling portion of the Rocky Mountains has just taken a turn for the dangerous. There's something there in the bush, the man tells her before stepping in front of her in a defensive
Oh,
pose.
yeah. Defend
They
your
watch the bush
woman.
intently. There's a slight rustling
What is
of
it?
leaves as if
Ew,
something
dude, it
is
looks like a
inside.
tree
The
butthole.
man picks up a stick from the ground and holds it in front of him, ready to strike whatever fearsome beast is lurking in the
Okay,
under-
let's be real. If that's like a grizzly bear, my guy is about to get ripped apart into like a billion different pieces, and she's looking at him like she knows it. If she's smart, she should probably start running immediately.
brush. The rustling stops, but the man doesn't move from his protective stance.
He is sweating bullets right
"You think it's
now.
gone?" The woman asks.
I don't think
the man
so.
isn't sure. He leans in towards the bush, searching for signs of what might be hiding inside when
Oh!
the man screams
What
and
is
falls
it?
backwards as the creature emerges from the bush.
What?
The woman cries. It's a pika. She kneels down to get a closer look at the adorable little creature.
It was just a
Pikas are
little
native to this
rodent.
part of Colorado,
Oh my
and they resemble
gosh.
rabbits, but with small, rounded ears.
He looks
She
so
watches it
stupid
hop back
now.
off the trail before turning around to see
Wait.
her friend lying tangled in the branches of a tree.
Guys, check that out. Okay, that is no ordinary tree. That has to be SCP-867, which has the nickname the Blood Spruce. I have no idea what this thing does, but based on its name, it can't be anything good.
Tree. She can't help but laugh as she offers a hand to help pull him out of his predicament. Are you all right? She asks between fits of laughter. Yes, he's fine. The only thing hurt was his pride. He notices a small red spot on his arm and rubs it, but it doesn't seem to hurt at all.
I think he got
his attention
infected.
is diverted by the woman, though, who is marveling at the tree he was just stuck in. Free of the branches, he can appreciate now that the tree really is incredible.
Whoa.
It looks like a huge blue spruce, but the name is a complete misnomer.
Wow.
Because this tree is a vibrant red color. I've never seen anything like it, she says, and the man hasn't either. Neither knows what species it is, and strangely, there don't seem to be any others like it.
It's so much
Maybe
bigger
this is
than the
result
other
of an
trees.
odd genetic defect that turns blue spruces red.
Huh.
After admiring the tree for a moment, the pair decides that they've hiked far enough and that they should probably head back to the car. She jokes that he's likely exhausted from his run-in with a wild animal. He laughs, but clearly his ego
Oh,
has been
that's so
bruised.
funny. He's gonna die soon. He's definitely. See, guys, look. There's a
The
skull
man
and
stops
bones.
his car in
This
front
guy's
of the
going
woman's
to
house,
die.
and she thanks him for taking her on the hike. As she starts to get out, though, he stops her. He asks if she wants to go do something else, like dinner?
Wait, guys. Okay, so I like to make predictions during these SCP videos, and I have a prediction. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but we know that that was definitely the blood spruce SCP, and we know that he fell into the tree. He has a little bump on his arm, so he's definitely 100% infected. Now, I'm curious, because we saw like bones and we saw stuff like a skull around the other blood spruce, I'm wondering if maybe that's how this thing multiplies. Maybe it infects people or animals, and then it like basically starts spawning a tree out of the infected area. That's what I think right now, based on the information that we have, but make sure you guys comment down below what you think, and don't cheat. I know some of you guys might fast forward and then comment down below what actually happens. Don't do that. Just make some guesses down below right now in the comments. Do it.
The woman thanks him for his offer, but she has to be up early the next day for work. Just a quick drink then? An hour? 30 minutes? The woman tries her best to let her friend down easy, explaining that she likes him as a friend and as only that.
Ooh.
The man opens his mouth to respond,
Rejected.
but she stops him.
He doesn't have
He
that
valued
Ohio
their
skibbity
friendship
riz.
and wouldn't try to take advantage of it by using it as a backdoor to dating her. The man again looks like his pride has been shattered.
Wow.
He apologizes and admits that she is right.
Not only did this
It's
guy
just
get
that he has
scared
such
by
a
a
good time with her
squirrel,
that he
he
never
got
wants it to
infected
end.
by an
She gives
SCP,
him a sad
and he
smile as she
also
closes
got
the car
rejected
door,
by
and he
the love of
watches
his
her enter
life.
her house before he finally
This guy took
drives away.
3 major L's
It's
today.
2 weeks later when the man's phone rings.
Oh,
It's
2
his
weeks
friend.
later.
She explains that she's
Oh,
been thinking a lot
no.
about what he said in the car, and that she likes spending time with him too.
No!
Maybe there could be something
I
more to
mean,
their
that's great
relationship.
for him, but
The man can't believe
we
it.
both know
Is
that
really
this guy
happening?
is not
The woman
going
is
to make it.
serious. She'd like to take him up on that dinner offer, if he's still interested. Her treat. She
Oh,
wants to know
gosh.
what he's doing right. Ah!
Oh, there it is, boys.
Is he okay? What was that sound?
No.
Yes, I'm fine. It was nothing, the man tells her. It's just that now's not a good time. The woman doesn't understand. She thought he'd want to see her. She explains that she's leaving town for a work trip the next day and will be gone for a couple of weeks. She was hoping
What?
she could see him before she left, but the man cries
Oh,
out
dude,
again.
he is
He tells her
infected
that
right
he hasn't
now.
been feeling well all day.
No.
But that he'll be all right. Okay, well,
He's not
get well
going to
soon.
be okay,
I'll
guys.
call you when I get back. They exchange goodbyes.
Oh, wait, look
and
at
the
his
man hangs up
skin.
the phone.
He's green?
The man
Oh!
looks terrible.
Oh my
His
gosh,
skin is
yeah.
pale, and his
Yes,
face
he
looks
does.
hollow and gaunt.
No.
He looks down at his arm. He
Ew.
sees that the veins themselves appear to be moving,
What?
pulsing, and vibrating.
Ah, that's
He screams
gross.
again in agony and falls
That
to
is
the floor,
disgusting.
clutching his arm. After writhing on the floor, he manages to summon the strength to reach for the phone. His hand searches on the table above him.
Ew, it looks like he's
Eventually,
wearing a
able to knock it onto
glove,
the
but
floor.
it's actually just his
He grabs
own
the phone
hand.
and starts to dial. 911. Before he can press 1
do it,
again,
do it.
another wave
Ah,
of intense
no.
searing pain consumes him. Several weeks later, the woman
Oh,
is
she
standing outside the
came
man's
to his house.
Mail and newspapers are piled up on his front porch, as if no one has been in or out in some time.
So I guess this guy must not have like any family or friends. He's kind of a loner because nobody has checked up on him in multiple weeks, other than this girl.
She knocks on the door, but there's no response. Hello? She calls out, but still nothing.
He
She's
turned
very
into a
worried.
tree,
She's
lady.
tried calling him several times, but he never answered or returned her messages. She tries the doorknob, and to her surprise, the front door swings open.
Okay, that's kind of
She steps
sus.
inside, and the room is dark. She's also immediately hit by a strong aroma of
Death. Oh,
she searches on the wall. And
maybe I
finds
was
the
right.
switch. She turns on the lights and can't believe what she sees standing in front of her.
I was right.
Is a massive spruce tree.
What?
Its upper branches pressing against the
That
ceiling.
is insane.
She reaches out and touches the tree's vivid red branches. They feel sticky and wet. She pulls her hand away and looks down to see that it's covered in a red substance. That's when she notices something else.
The dead body.
Stuck in the
Oh my god. Oh, okay.
Of her friend.
So guys, I was right. I mean, this is a horrible time to pause, but I was right. So this thing infects the person, and then it turns their body into like fertilizer for a tree to spawn. Now guys, I'm pretty sure there's a type of mushroom that does this as well. It's very weird, but I remember watching a video after I played the Last of Us game, which is about like this mushroom virus that can like take over different organisms. And there actually is a mushroom out there called cordyceps that does something similar to this. But luckily it can only take over like small insects like ants, but it can actually like take over their brain and then it starts spawning in the mushroom from their body. It is super weird, but it's like a real life SCP.
Unfortunately, this pair would never have the opportunity to see their feelings take root and grow, because unbeknownst to
Dr.
them,
Bob just
this
cooked with that
beautiful
one.
tree is actually a very deadly anomaly, known to the SCP Foundation as SCP-867, but which is perhaps better known by its very appropriate nickname,
The blood spruce.
SCP-867 is, or at least appears to be, quite similar to the species of tree Pisceae pungens.
I've never
better
seen that
known
tree
as the
before.
blue spruce.
That is such a cool
Of
looking
course,
tree.
There are a number of dramatic differences between 867 and its non-anomalous counterpart.
I mean, yeah, we could see, first off, the blood spruce is like double the size, and secondly, it's a different color.
Visually, and most obvious, is the coloration. While blue spruces, as the name implies, are typically a blue-green color, SCP-867 is a deep, vibrant red. There's another major visual difference too, with the blood spruce lacking any sort of seed cones that you would normally expect to find.
Oh,
With
interesting.
no pine cones to protect and spread seeds. You'd be right to ask how SCP-867 goes about reproducing.
We already
The
know.
answer to that question is what makes this beautiful tree such a dangerous anomaly. The secret to how SCP-867 reproduces is found in its leaves. While they look like pine needles, SCP-867's leaves are, in fact, needles.
Oh,
Their structure is very
what?
similar to that of hypodermic needles, and each one contains a single long, thin seed, which sits above a small gas pocket at the base.
Are you
When a living
serious?
creature touches the leaves, the tree immediately
Oh!
reacts. It triggers the gas pocket in the base of the
Wow.
leaf to release, which injects the seed into the skin of whatever touched it. The process is quite similar to that found in auto-injectors. Like
Guys, this is insane. So just like a lot of SCP videos that we've watched in the past, there's like, I don't know, just like some part of it feels like it could be real. Like obviously we know about porcupines and they have like really sharp, basically needles as their defense mechanism. And we also know that pine trees and like other trees in existence like thorns, they just like, they can pretty much like prick you and then cause you to bleed. Now, luckily, nothing that we know of actually exists today that like shoots a seed inside of you, which would be super weird. But I don't know, there's something about these SCPs where they're like almost real enough. It just feels like it could be real. Like if somebody, like let's say, Albert Einstein sat me down and he was like, yeah, there's a tree that can shoot you with the seed and then, you know, a tree will grow out of your body. I would believe it. I would be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Darwin definitely studied that one, you know, 400 years ago. That just sounds like evolution to me. But luckily, it's just an SCP, so we're safe for now, I think.
those used to quickly treat allergic reactions. The seed itself is extremely small and is coated in a liquid that has both anesthetic and coagulant properties.
So you can't feel
which makes
it.
the process virtually undetectable. Once implanted in the skin, these seeds can lay dormant for up to 2 weeks before they begin the germination process, and the true horror of SCP-867 is revealed. Once the seeds begin to sprout and grow, they will not seek to penetrate through the skin like a plant rising out of the soil. Instead, the strange plant will grow within its host's body, spreading throughout the circulatory system. This process is extremely painful for the host.
I bet.
The plant's tendrils wind through their veins
Oh
and
my
capillary
gosh.
system, stretching and pressing against them.
It literally takes over the person's entire organ
the ever-increasing
system.
size of the plant's tendrils becomes too much, and the veins will begin to rupture. This leads to severe
I don't
internal
like it.
bleeding, and soon after, the death of the host.
Okay,
The
okay.
entire process is quite quick, with it only taking 24 hours from when the seeds first sprout to the host dying. But that single day will feel like an eternity to the afflicted individual as they feel the plant rapidly growing inside of their body.
Okay, so it did only
But even
take
though the
one
host has
day.
expired, this parasitoid tree is far from finished with them, or at least their body. Soon after death, a new instance of the blood spruce will burst from the body. The red tree is quite small at first, but it will continue to quickly grow, just as it did within its host's body, and can reach maturity in just 30 days.
What?
And unlike most other plants,
What?
SCP-867 is able to grow regardless of light or soil conditions.
how?
Because it does not produce food via photosynthesis. No, this plant is carnivorous. As it grows, the 867 will slowly consume its host's body until nothing remains except the blood red tree.
So how does it eat
Instances of
after it runs out of the
SCP-867
person?
were first identified in Colorado during the 1990s, following reports of numerous disappearances of hikers and park rangers. The SCP Foundation dispatched a team to the area to investigate, and they soon discovered numerous instances of the previously unidentified tree.
So that basically means that 3 people were out there and then they all like basically died, and then the trees sprouted out of nowhere.
Several still young specimens were acquired, though unfortunately, this led to the deaths of several agents.
How?
We're not yet aware of just how dangerous the red spruces could be.
How did you not
Once their
know?
threat level was properly assessed, several specimens were flagged for containment and research purposes, while all of the other identified
Yes,
instances still in the
that's
wild
what you should do
were
to this
destroyed.
SCP.
The remaining
Burn it with a
instances of
flamethrower.
SCP-867 were classified as Euclid and are now securely kept at a Foundation biocontainment site. Direct human contact with the plants is normally not allowed, and remote rovers are used for the majority of
You know,
tests and upkeep.
that's a big
If
brain
for
play
any
right
reason
there.
It is necessary for a human to enter 867's containment cell. They are to wear full hazmat suits with a Kevlar underlayer, and upon exiting the cell, must undergo a full herbicidal treatment and inspection. Should any possible puncture marks be discovered, they will be forced to quarantine for no less than 15 days. Ah, nature. It's so beautiful.
Wait a second, why would they quarantine for 15 days when they just said earlier in the video that it only takes 24 hours for this thing to kill the person? That was kind of weird.
Full and calming, yet seems determined to try and kill us in any number of ways. If you're out hiking or camping in the woods, try to remember this extremely famous adage which I may or may not have just made up. It goes, leaves of 3, let them be. Needles of red, well, you're probably already dead.
Here we go, boys.
An Air Canada flight experiences severe malfunction.
Oh, they are going down, dude. They are going all the way down to the ground.
Unable to do anything, and the plane
Look at
crashes
them
into the
panicking.
woods of northern Alberta. The crash was devastating. Only 10 of the nearly 300 people on board are alive.
Oh my gosh,
And even
dude.
though they survived the initial
Are you
disaster,
serious?
their battle for life has only just begun.
This is like the
It's
plot
late
of the
autumn
TV show
in northern
Lost.
Canada, and there's no telling when help will arrive, if at all. If the survivors want to make it through the night, they need to find shelter, and fast.
I feel
As they
so
trudge through
bad
the
for these
freezing
people.
woods, the group finds a path that looks like it might lead them to civilization. After all, if there was a path in the woods, that meant they were probably in a national park. And if they were in a national park, there had to be a ranger station around
Oh, yeah,
somewhere
good
where they could
thinking.
warm up and call for help.
Okay, guys, comment down below what you would do if you were in a plane crash and you were with like a bunch of random strangers in the middle of nowhere. Would you stay and wait for help, or would you try to venture out into the wilderness and try to find maybe fresh water, maybe some food, or maybe even people that can go get help for you? Let me know in the comments.
They didn't have many other options, so they followed the path which opened up to a clearing. But instead of finding a ranger station or campground, they found something none of them could have expected.
It's the
It was a
red
pond,
pool.
But there was
No.
something off about it.
Guys,
As they got
imagine
closer,
being
they
in
saw
a
that
plane
the
crash and then you
pond
run into
wasn't
one of the
filled with
deadliest
water,
SCPs of all
but
time.
blood.
That is
The
so scary.
survivors were horrified. That couldn't really be blood, could it? It must have been a weird algae or chemical reaction. But one member of the group, a man named Thomas Dean, who had been on his way back to his hometown of Prince George, British Columbia.
Is he like some sort of
thought there
SCP
was something
expert?
strangely familiar about this.
Interesting.
He remembered being a boy and going to visit family in Alberta, and hearing an urban legend from the older local kids. According to the stories, somewhere out in the wilderness, in the northern part of the province, there was a pond full of human blood. And what made it even
What?
worse was that some said the pond was a gateway to hell. The SCP Foundation
That is exactly what it is, ladies and gentlemen.
And had been trying to pinpoint the exact source of it for decades prior to the Air Canada crash. They would finally receive definite confirmation of the blood pond when Foundation personnel intercepted a radio transmission from a ranger station located within the Wood Buffalo National Park. It was the survivors of the crash who had managed to make it through the night.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so these people obviously survived, but the one guy that heard of the urban legend, he actually is spot on. This SCP, for those of you guys that don't know, actually can spawn in other SCPs. They're like a subclass of this SCP, so there's SCP-354-1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and some of them are like as crazy as you can think. So these people are in for a rude awakening. I do not want to be these people. I feel so bad for them.
They were about to be escorted out of the park by rangers. The Foundation mobilized quickly to cordon off the pond, as at the time they were unsure of what potentially harmful properties the pond might have had. They set up watch station.
Oh wow, so the people actually got out okay. That's amazing.
The pond was given the designation of SCP-354 and classed as Euclid. Foundation scientists made a number.
So for those of you guys that haven't seen an SCP video, Euclid class basically means that it's like a neutral sort of thing. It's kind of like a Minecraft spider. If you leave it alone and stay away from it, it's not going to do anything to you. But if you engage with it, it has the potential to turn deadly.
Of interesting discoveries about SCP-354 when they collected samples for testing. First, the pond was not in fact full of blood.
What actually is it?
An organic liquid that closely resembles blood in color and consistency.
Oh, weird.
Second, and even stranger than the red liquid, is that the pond doesn't seem to have any definite banks or a bottom. Instead,
There's
the liquid
no
in the pond increases
bottom?
in density as the radius away from the center increases. The liquid congeals at the edges, becoming more solid and blending into the surrounding soil.
Oh wow, so this
It
could
also
like
becomes
take
thicker
over
as one
the
descends deeper
world.
into the pool.
Honestly,
And the
it's
bottom of
infinite.
the pond has not yet been reached, if it even exists.
Whoa.
Initially, the Foundation found no signs of life within the blood pond. but that would
Until
all change at
something
2:03
happens.
on the day following the
Yup.
opening of Watch Station.
Oh, I'm ready
Epsilon
for this.
38. When the science team noticed an unusual level of activity on the pond's surface, security footage feeds showed a shape
There's the
rising out of
first
pond,
creature.
followed by a deafening shriek. After that, the feed was cut and Foundation lost all communication with Watch Station Epsilon 38. Fearing the worst, a mobile task force was dispatched to the location. When they got there, all personnel from Watch Station had been killed by what could only be described as a gigantic bat.
That
The
thing
task
is
force was
huge.
able to
That's like the
neutralize
size of
entity,
5 people.
and as soon as they could, the Foundation moved in to increase security around the SCP.
I mean, yeah,
creating
that's the
Area
smartest thing to do.
354 And installing a permanent security detail. After this point, the pond started to regularly spit out a variety of monstrous entities, almost as if it was reacting to the SCP Foundation's increased security measures. After SCP-354-1, the giant bat, came SCP-354-2.
They get even worse.
354-2 was an echidna-like monster the size of a bear.
Wait, is that like
was
an
virtually
armadillo?
bulletproof, but unable to escape
What?
Area 354. The Foundation neutralized this anomaly with napalm. SCP-354-3 was a floating
Okay,
black
what
sphere
is
capable of
that?
firing deadly beams of concentrated energy. The area's head scientist was able to hit it with a sledgehammer, causing the sphere to malfunction and self-destruct before it was able to escape.
Okay, guys, the first two kind of made sense. You know, they were like animals, or at least like variations of animals. There was a bat, there was like a bear-like armadillo. This one is a lot different. So I thought for a second that this SCP only spit out like really, I don't know, like Godzilla forms of like normal animals, like just giant versions of any type of animal that we already know about. But this one's different. This one is like a cyborg sphere that has electric abilities. So I wonder like how it decides what to send out from the red pool.
Area. The Foundation wasn't as lucky with SCP-354-4.
Is that a dragon?
This creature was a reptilian humanoid that stood roughly 15 feet tall and was unable to be
It's
put
Joe
down
Biden.
with gunfire. This was the first creature from the pond to
Oh my
successfully
God.
escape containment and was only
You
able to
gotta
be
be kidding
neutralized
me.
when the Foundation sent in Mobile Task Force Omega-7, also known as
Oh,
Pandora's
nice.
box. The data on pond incursions is partially corrupted, so a complete list of creatures is not available.
I do know for a fact that there's more than just 4 creatures. So they said that the list is not available. There are definitely more creatures from the red pool. I know for a fact too, I'm pretty sure there's like some sort of fire and ice tiger. So I'm curious if we're going to see that. I also am pretty sure that there might be some sort of like Terminator cyborg that comes out of the red pool.
But some of the other monsters
Yup,
that came out of the
there it
blood
is.
pond include
Literally,
a robot,
as I said
with
it,
gigantic
and the
tentacles that drive
octopus.
several D-class personnel into the pond. A pair of panther-like creatures,
There it is.
one made of ice and the other of magma, that ignored Foundation staff and instead fought each other.
What
And
is
one
this
seemingly
dude?
normal human man who
Huh?
was executed as soon as he emerged from the pond.
He walked up like, hey guys, I've been stuck there for years. I'm totally normal. And they were like, not a chance. Boom. You're dead.
Tests on his body revealed that he was, in fact,
Oh my
totally normal
gosh, he
and
was
would have
normal?
posed no threat.
You gotta
These
be
anomalies
kidding
came
me.
out of the pond at fairly regular intervals for several months, before the pond went silent for an unprecedented 22 months. The head scientist
so
at the time
weird and
noted,
random.
I suspect this means one of two things. Either the red pool has died or powered down,
Huh.
whatever the correct term for
There's
it
no
is,
way that it
or
died.
is charging up for something big to
I
come through.
feel like it
Both
might be
believes
charging
the
up.
former is the most likely explanation, and has recalled 30% of our total personnel and cut 25%
Really?
of our funding.
So they think that
While
it's
I can only
powering
hope
down.
that they are correct. If the latter situation is true, we're soon to face some terrible monstrosity, and we won't have anywhere near the force necessary to deal with it.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that the most deadly thing to come out of the red pool are like these giant octopus tentacles. That's like the biggest thing that I know of that comes out of the red pool. But what they're saying is that it might be powering up to unleash something even bigger.
I worry for all of our safety. His words would prove eerily prophetic following the events of Exploratory Mission 354 Alpha. The Foundation's research and development team built a specialized craft
Whoa.
to explore the pond. Because of the strange properties of the pond's
It has a
density, the
drill
craft
on
was
it?
essentially made to be both
That's
a submarine
sick.
for parts of the pond where the contents were liquid, and a drill for when the liquid congealed into a semi-solid towards the bottom. The exploration team consisted of Agent Swanson,
Oh,
Agent Turquoise,
they all
Agent
dead.
86,
They all
Dr.
gonna
J.
die.
MacArthur, Chris
R.I.P..
Simmons, Leroy Tucker, and a pilot named
Who is
Martin.
Agent
With the team
86?
assembled,
That's such
the
a
ship was
random
sent
name.
down into
That's
the
like
pond.
Elon Musk's
Nothing
son.
eventful happened for the first 2 days of the mission, but at 4:30 a.m. on the third day,
Whoa.
gravity suddenly reversed for the crew of the ship. This
Wait
seemed
a
to indicate that
second.
They were approaching the halfway point, though what would be on
Gravity
the other side, nobody
went
could say.
away?
On the fourth day, the ship
Huh?
surfaced, proving
Wait,
definitely
what?
that the pond was in fact some sort of portal. The crew looked out of the portholes to see the darkness of night above them. While sensors outside the
Hold
ship
on.
detected nothing harmful in the atmosphere around them, the crew were wary of exiting the
So it really is just a portal to a different SCP dimension that has these insane creatures. It's kind of like the Upside Down in Stranger Things.
craft. The other side of the pond was nothing like the world the crew knew. For one thing, the night lasted for 28 hours before dawn came, and when the sun finally rose, it was much larger and redder than the Earth's sun.
That's their
Under the light
sun.
of the strange
Holy
red star,
smokes.
The crew could see that the pond on this side was massive compared to what they've come into, more like a large lake. Surrounding the lake was sand and rocks that were covered in a kind of moss that disappeared under sunlight and regrew during the night. The team left the ship and started to explore. During
Wait,
their
wait,
time
wait, wait,
in
wait,
this-
wait, wait. They left the ship? Did they not see the creatures coming out from the other side of this? Like, they should be way more prepared. I know that they have like this like top awesome secret agent task force, but like seriously, they should be bringing like way more than just 8 agents. They should have like SEAL Team 6 in there.
A strange world, they found that the day lasted just a few hours shorter than the night, meaning that whatever planet they were on had a roughly 43-hour-long rotation as opposed to our own planet's 24.
So
The
it has
team
to be a
found
lot
number of
bigger than
anomalous
planet
elements
Earth.
on their expedition, including razor-sharp grass that can puncture skin and streams of liquid carbon dioxide.
Okay, that's
They heard some
terrifying.
loud roars in the distance once or twice, but other than that, the planet was eerily silent, with seemingly no animal life and not even wind.
I mean,
When it
something
rained,
really
the
bad is
soil
about to
ran
happen.
dry, and based on that, the scientists theorized the plants in this world were more efficient at absorbing moisture. On the 25th day, the team ran into a huge metal wall that appeared to be artificially constructed. Luckily, Leroy Tucker, a quick-thinking researcher, was able to rig a blowtorch from camping supplies and melt a hole
What?
through the metal. On the other
Okay.
side, there was finally
Guys, I feel like these SCP investigator dudes are like way too comfortable right now. They are going into the unknown, and I don't see a single AK-47 on any one of these guys.
and odd black grass. That's the extent of what is known about the other side of the wall.
That's it?
Because the expedition logs are heavily corrupted after that point. But we know that whatever was in there wasn't good, because the team never returned. Strangely,
Okay, so they
there's no
saw
record of
something
any names
horrible.
mentioned in the ship's log, almost as if being killed on the other side completely erased them from history. No other expeditions into the pond were launched after that.
Did
On
they
an
die there?
undisclosed date, a year following the discovery of the Blood Pond and construction of Area 354, the site was completely evacuated, and power was cut to the area. Mobile task force.
Wait a second. They completely abandoned the site where like these underground purgatory monsters were coming out of. I feel like that is, I don't know, a little bit weird. They should definitely leave at least a few people there to monitor the situation. Like, what if actual, like, I don't know, the devil comes out of there, or Godzilla, or something even worse than those two combined? Like, somebody should be there just in case.
12 was dispatched to investigate the cause of the evacuation, but before contact could be established, the area's on-site nuclear warhead was detonated.
They have a nuke?
Destroying the site.
Wait,
MTF
but
Theta 12
what about
was
the
then
Red
attacked
Pool?
by a convoy made up of D-class and other low-ranking staff
Wait,
who had evacuated
what?
Area 354.
Guys, I've
It was
never seen
apparent
this.
that there
They're
had been
fighting
some
each
kind of
other.
mutiny within the site, and that a dissolution of the chain of command had led to its evacuation and
I've
destruction.
never seen this
The convoy
before.
totally annihilated MTF Theta 12.
Are you
and
serious?
No further contact with the former personnel of Area 354 has been made since.
Dude,
Following
this
the
is
site's
crazy.
detonation, a new site was constructed called simply the Red Pool Containment Site. Unlike the previous facility, which focused on research and neutralization, the new site is entirely concerned with containment.
I mean,
The
yeah,
shift
that's
and directive
smart.
Came as a response to the pond's apparent reactive nature. Each creature that emerged from the pond seemed to be in retaliation to the Foundation's actions, and it
So, okay, what they're saying is that as long as they leave the pond alone, that it won't attack them, which is why it's a Euclid class. As long as you leave anything that's like a Euclid class alone, then it won't try to fight back.
It was theorized by some that the mutiny at Area 354 was triggered by some kind of psychic attack from the pond itself. An interview in the SCP file on 354 reveals that there was one more disastrous attempt to control and understand.
Oh boy, here we go.
According to an interview with a Foundation agent, the head doctor proposed a scheme to drain the blood pond using a system of pumps and hoses.
That's a
All
horrible
non-essential
idea.
Personnel were evacuated in case of emergency, leaving only the pump technicians, D-class personnel,
They're dead.
and a few agents.
They're
for
gonna
security.
die. They're gonna
However,
perish.
As soon as the pump was
They're gonna
scheduled
get
to be
yeeted.
turned on, everyone at the site experienced a mass dissociative episode. The
Okay, so
agent
the Red Pool does have some sort of psychic property. I don't know if it's maybe like a chemical that it releases or what, but it can take over your mind on top of releasing the most crazy creatures of all time. This thing is honestly, this is one of the craziest SCPs that we've ever investigated.
described the feeling they all experienced as like being in a dream and suddenly realizing that you're asleep. He said, "Everything stopped being real. It was like we had to escape right now." When asked what happened when the pump was turned on, he simply explained that it wouldn't let them. This interview confirmed the theory
Wow.
that the pond is not only capable of releasing monsters out into our world, but also that it's capable of powerful but much more subtle psychological attacks. This suggests a chilling possibility that the pond isn't just blindly reacting to being attacked, but it's fully sentient. And the actions of the SCP
Oh my
Foundation
gosh.
have only served to annoy it.
It has like
And
a
worse,
brain,
studies
and it
of the
can
pond's
think.
banks have proved evidence that the area of congealed liquid around the perimeter of the pond has been steadily expanding. That's right.
Okay, so
the
it's-
pond is
it's
getting
going to
bigger.
take over
last
the
thing
world,
Foundation
is what
agent
I'm
stationed
hearing.
At the site said before being dragged out of the interview and sedated was, "It gets bigger and stronger every day, and now we've made it angry."